Oh, hello and welcome to a super special episode of All Systems Go plays Odyssey of the Dragonlords. It's super special because we're playing on an off day of the week. But other than that, it's a totally normal episode, and it's everything that you expect from a normal episode of our stream with no surprises or tomfoolery. Just the way you like it. As always, I am Logan, the DM of this lovely stream, and I am joined by my 4 lovely players, not 5 today, unfortunately, but my 4 lovely players. We will not introduce ourselves this week, but we will go straight into a vignette. Who is joining me on this vignette?
Me.
It is Sean. Okay, so Aeneas, you're playing Aeneas during this vignette. You're walking through maybe like the palace gardens. What's Aeneas doing in this situation?
Aeneas is living his best Disney princess life, and he's singing to himself. He's kind of skipping through these gardens. Birds are twittering in the background. Wildlife seems to be slowly gathering around him. And as you sort of zoom in and the sounds get clearer, you realize Aeneas is singing horrendously off tune to an unknown song that no one could place, even if they tried. But he's perfectly content with that. And he's slowly gathering sort of a herd, maybe, of animals of various kinds around him.
None of them are up next to him. They're sort of like gathering to see the spectacle. We see like maybe there's a couple birds up in the tree that are like, what's he singing of? That's so bad. It's totally off tune. Oh. And they're just like commenting on it. There's like some animals will come and look at you, and then like you'll hit a particularly bad note and they'll like freak out and scurry away. How long do you stay at this, Aeneas? Do you have a purpose, or are you just having fun?
10 minutes exactly, because that's how long it takes to ritually cast speak to animals.
Well, okay. Perfect amount.
At the end, he says he kind of comes to a close to his musical acting. He kind of claps his hands together, and he's sort of like, all right, I guess that's that. Now, who we got here? And kind of looks around, and
There's
he sees
no animals around you. They've all sort of gathered. They had gathered, and then they sort of dispersed as you continued this spectacle. And then you look over and you see one like particularly plump rat that's sort of like sitting there, gnawing on some cheese, watching you watch the empty ground.
Aeneas zeroes in on that rat. He's like, "Oi, mate, you up for a little? I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine." He pulls out some jerky.
And you recognize this rat. This is Phil. You've spoken to Phil before.
It's the original Phil.
He says, "Oh, you got some of that good stuff for me?" He goes over, he like takes that jerky, eats it. "Yeah, I came. I promised you a little bit ago that I'd come, so I'm here back again. You got a horrible voice."
Hi, that's not a very nice thing to say.
I never said it would be nice.
Anything about your voice?
Well, it's because it's lovely and beautiful.
Okay, well, I got a job for you, but I think you're going to need a little bit more help than just one of yours.
Just one of yours. I'm Phil.
Yeah.
We're great.
Right. Okay. Well, I need you to help me with a little problem in the palace.
Whoa,
that's a high
the
security.
palace. That's not my
Right,
turf.
exactly.
You're gonna gotta talk to the Dawn for that one.
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, how about you talk to the Dawn for me?
Oh yeah, I'll pass your message along if you give me a little bit of incentive.
I pull out some more jerky.
Now you're speaking my language. Snatches that. Okay,
High quality.
Yeah. Just give me the message. We'll pass it along.
All right.
And then you like zoom down and you whisper the message into the rat's ear, and he's like, yeah, okay. Really? Wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And he's like gnawing on the jerky the whole time. And then at the end, he will have finished the jerky, shoves the rest of it. He's like, holds out his hand for more.
You're killing me. Tear off another piece of jerky.
Thank
This is
you,
rancid.
sir. Okay. Pass your message along. No problem. He shoves it into his mouth. Pleasure doing business with you. And he scurries away.
All right. Well, there's a job well done. And Ace goes back to singing off too.
And we will go to the video, and then we'll be right back.
Okay, well, like we said, no surprises this session. My name is Logan. I will be your DM for the rest of the session. Now, okay, so we're doing a little switch up today. We're playing D&D point 2024 point honey heist point rat heist.
No, please share.
And what that means is that we are doing, for our little session today, we are going to be following the honey heist rules, but everybody will be playing a rat instead of a bear. Honey Heist is an amazing little system that I believe is open source and anyone can access. So, or it might have a donation attached to it. So I highly recommend it. It's awesome. We've done it before, had a lot of fun. We're excited to do it again. This time we're just theming things as rats, and our rats, of course, have a special mission assigned to them by Aeneas. So, let's see. I think we will start maybe by having everyone finally introduce themselves and their new rat sona that they are inhabiting today. So, let's do color order, I guess.
That means we're starting with me. Hi, I'm Connor. I am playing Scorn Phil. Scorn Phil. Phil? Phil. Scorn Phil. He is just a small little bundle of joy. He's the happiest little, most cheerful fucking rat graduate of the Mytros Institute of Technology, class of 499. Okay? Don't fucking get it confused just because you think you went to some community college and got your hot shit together with a sociology degree. Okay? Look, this is robotics and criminology we're talking about here. Okay? I know them better than you could possibly ever know yourself. Right? Get it fucking straight.
Mytros Institute of Technology is crazy.
It truly is.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Scorn Phil.
All right, I guess that means I'm next. Hi, I'm Sarah, and I'm playing Doubt Phil. And Doubt Phil is just, he's retired now. And, he's just trying to put up, he doesn't want to go back to that life. He's living the good life with some cheese and some wine. He's got a little thimble that he keeps full of wine, and he's just, none of this is a very good idea. I mean, really, do we really want to go back to all the danger and all the hardship before? This doesn't sound like such a good idea. And he's the thief and a black rat who's just hanging out in his bathrobe.
True. Each rat has a role, aka thief, and then
Yes, a theme.
typically associated with a certain type of bear. In this case, it would normally be a black bear, but we are rats, so
Thank you.
We
Context.
are rats.
but
So-
bears in spirit.
Yes. So he's just a former thief, climbing expert or extraordinaire, but just, trying to get his time off from all of that after he put in all that hard work.
Very good. I am going to play Boast Phil, who is a silver rat who wears a silver coin on just like flat on top of her head. She's taken that silver coin from Icarus's stash because she believes, as the last descendant of Balmetria, she is the rightful owner of that silver coin. She is fierce, and her special ability is Carnage.
Wow, that is exceptional. I'm excited to see Boast Phil in action. Okay, and last, colorless.
All right. I'm Phil. I'm the hottest brother on the street. I got my nice mixtape. It's gonna be real nice this summer. It's proper good. The face of the party. Proper face. Pretty good. People love me. I think that's about it. Oh, I can eat anything, man.
It's a hungry rat. Okay, so just as a quick rules reminder and to set us up, we'll get more into things as necessary if they pop up. But the most basic and most important stuff to remember is that you are a rat, okay? You're nothing more, nothing less. And within you, there are also two rats. One is a rat, and the other is a criminal, okay? And so your rat and your criminal rat are inside you, warring for dominance. These are two stats that you have, and they both start at 3. They have a minimum of 1 and a maximum of 6. Most important to remember is you don't want to get to 6 in any single stat, and they're sort of leveraged. They're like a seesaw. If one goes up, the other goes down. When you roll anything that might be challenging, I will ask you, or I will tell you, do you think this is this rat or is this criminal? Okay. And so rat is anything a rat can do. Criminal is everything else. So when in doubt, could a rat do this? And I'm open to being challenged, but I lay down the law as the final voice of what is rat or criminal. And then once we figure out what the stat is, let's say you're rolling rat to eat some cheese, you will roll just 1d6 as your base. And if you get equal to or less than your stat, you succeed. So 3 or less, you succeed. 4 or higher, you would fail because we said our rat stat was set at 3. Now, there are only 2 ways to get bonuses basically to rolls, which are if you do something related to your roll or related to your kind of special rat species, we'll say. So I think some of you kind of hinted at it, but for instance, Sarah's Doubt Phil is a thief. So if she were to do something thiefy with her rat, then she could roll 2d6s and choose the lowest roll. And I think that's good for now because you won't have to worry about sort of that seesaw mechanic for a hot second. So I think we will get started. And you find yourselves called into the Dawn's office. You see in front of you a very large, very respectful, very a rat with gravitas, one might say. A rat that really commands the room. This is Power Phil, the Dawn. of Mytros. He is head of all rats, none compared to his majesty, his beneficence, and his power within the city. So, but he's recently got a mission for you, and that he's assembled your old team. You all know each other. You are Rat Team 6, a special ops force that has been used in the past but was disbanded, and depending on who you ask, in disgrace. But luckily Don has reached out again, and he's got a request for you. So Don, you come in to his office, you see the rest of your rat companions there, and Don looks at you and he says, "All right, I gathered you here today for a very special mission. All right, now I'm giving you one last chance, Rat Team 6. Okay, you hear me? One last chance as a group, and then it's kibosh. You're not gonna mess this up, all right? We've got riches you wouldn't believe on the line. The amount of jerky we're talking about is unbelievable. Okay, now, we've been told by our sources that there's something fishy going on in that dragon stable they got up by the palace. There's some sort of bad meat, which we've been aware of for a while now, I'm sure you know. But we've been requested to acquire some of the meat, not eat it, all right? And he's looking right at Respect Phil. All right, there you listen to what I said.
Nibble in it.
No nibbles, no nothing. I want it unharmed, unmessed with, a pristine sample. Like we already talked about, this stuff is bad, okay? You eat any of it, you're done for. You're sleeping with the fishes and I don't even have to get involved, which is nice, but we don't need that this time around. So, your main mission is to infiltrate the palace, get to the stable, acquire some of that bad meat as a sample for our customer. Now, we've heard that there might be some other opportunities on the side that would help us acquire a bigger reward. There's some sort of special ingredient used to make this meat. Okay? So if you can acquire that, bing, bang, boom. We got more jerky. You get a bigger share, okay? You help me, I help you. It's not that hard. Lastly, they think there's a higher up involved. A big guy. The biggest guy other than me. If you can get his insignia and bring it back, then we'll really be talking about some dosh. All right? Now, any questions? Your mission starts at midnight tonight.
Yeah. What if I just tasted a little nibble? You know, just we gotta know what's the right way. I think it behooves us to make sure if I tried it and I could tell it was a bad meat, we could bring it back and we could be certain.
Respectful. I'm only gonna say this one more time. You eat any of that meat, you're never eating again. Whether I get you or the meat gets you. So either your teammates keep you in line or I keep you in line. And you're not gonna like that.
Alright.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Powerful.
You can call me Dawn, okay?
Dawn. I'm retired now. Do you even think that I'm cut out for this mission?
I know.
You remember what happened last time?
No, it's. I remember. Don't remind me, okay?
You gotta help me, Dawn. How are we getting there?
Yeah.
How do we get into the palace?
I'm helping you right now. I'm giving you an opportunity to redeem yourself, Doubtful. Okay? We all know what happened last time, and we're not gonna talk about it. I don't want to hear it again. Okay? Now, you're
I was
gonna
in a good
figure
place,
it out.
Don. Don't make me go back.
No. Yeah, you're gonna be in a better place once you help me, all right? You think
right,
you
you
got it
better be-
easy? You think you got
I-
it nice and clean? Who helps you keep it nice and clean? The Dawn. So when the Dawn asks for a favor, you do it.
All right. You do.
Yeah, that's what I
I
thought.
sip my little wine.
All right. Any other questions?
Don, as you can tell, some of my teammates are not as committed to the mission as I am, but you can best know that the daughter of Balmeria is on the case.
Right. Daughter Balmeria. Okay. Yeah, well, good thing you're on the job. I'm trusting you with leading these bozos to success.
Perfect. If we get all three things, can I get and Rat Team 8 is down a member? Could I get transferred maybe?
You succeed, and then we'll talk about your reward. I'll be in such a good mood, who knows what could happen. Okay? Sounds good.
I think I have
Permission
another
to
question.
approach the desk, Dawn.
Permission denied. Stay where you are, Scorn Phil. He's got two bodyguards
Alright,
flanking him that sort of like
Yeah,
muscle on
I
up.
get it. Yeah, no trouble here. No trouble here. I just do we have any kind of backup? I mean, this is who I'm working with here. You know what's the situation is. Do I got any kind of help?
You think
Anything
you
I
need
can do here?
backup? I am the backup.
You girl, you ain't. No, you just stop. I mean, I'm not talking to you right now. I'm
Back up.
talking to Don Phil.
All right, back
sir?
up. He like slaps the chest of one of his bodyguards. Back up. Let me put it this way. You'll either make it out or you don't. And if you don't, I send in Rat Team 8. Okay? Okay. You could do it. I believe in you. I wouldn't have asked you if I didn't think you could do it. I promise. Now get out of my sight. You got midnight. It begins. No. Go. All right. And with that, the Dawn dismisses you. And he, he's got full confidence in your abilities. So I think y'all are going to be on the up and up. Now,
I think it's because we're expendable.
Yeah, I think you finally had a good insight into the situation here. That's real great of you.
so if you'd like, you could talk, if you want to discuss among your rat teammates to think about things a little bit, but otherwise we're going to hit the ground running. Does somebody want to make a breach roll for entering the palace and decide how you would like to enter the palace?
Connor, you're familiar with the breach mechanic.
I am familiar with the breach mechanic. I'm very familiar with it.
Just, I'm just playing fast and loose. Pick something you'd like, how would y'all like to? You could rappel in from the ceiling. You could pick a lock, do it in the right order. You could, scurry on through some window. Who knows? Hide yourself under a wagon.
So first things first, we got to assess the situation here. We got to know what we're talking about. What our exits look like? What's our escape plan? How are we gonna get in? How are we gonna get out? Right? That's all. That's all what a breach is. We all know this, right? It's basic. So we're gonna go to the site, okay? And we're gonna case the joint. We're gonna look at the outside, see what's going on, check out them doors, and then take a look at all the people going in and out. Is there like a maid service? Can we dress up like mechanics and put on high vis vests and just waltz on into the place? So we got to sneak ourselves into a bag of meat and then come in through that way, or like come in through a hole in the wall. What do we got going on with the physical location? So
Definitely.
you guys, you go look at that. I'm gonna make some notes here. You guys go look at that and you tell me what you find, okay?
Okay, well,
Shut up! Let's go! What the fuck you doing?
somebody would
Get
like
the
to
asses
scout.
and go look at the place.
I'm not really sure that this is a very good idea, but
All right, what's your
go
plan?
with it.
Huh?
I'll go with you while we scout.
Yeah, great. You two go and
Doubtful.
scout together.
Doubtful. Great. Yeah, I'm like, okay. If you just want to watch me from the floor and tell me if I'm gonna fall, that would be great. But I'm gonna climb up. I'll get up there and I'll do a little 1-2 around like I used to do. Just make sure that I can. You're spotting me, okay?
All right, you're doing great up there. Hey, what do you mean earlier when you said you weren't out cut out for this anymore? I think you're doing great.
Okay.
I'm still on the ground.
Oh, that ain't you. Oh, okay.
I was a totally separate. You see a shadow flittering around the bend of the tiles, the roof tiles, but it was not your Phil. Okay, so I would say to climb up and get a view is a rat action. But if you want to like notate rotations of schedules, things like that, that's criminal. You're making detailed notes, mental notes on what's happening.
I think I am. Doubtful is just trying to see if he can physically get up there because he's got a little bit of a mental block. And so he is getting up and he's looking for like, we're in the palace. We need to go to the dragon's lair, like seeing how much of that is like traversable via climbing.
So let's roll rat for climbing, just to get us started before we get too far ahead.
How many d6 is it again?
Just one, unless you think climbing is or what's your other one?
Climb.
Oh, climbing. Yeah, so you get to roll 2. I was like black bear. I couldn't remember. You guys got to remember your special stuff.
All right. So Phil is like, okay, like he chugs the last thimbleful of wine, puts it on his head, and tightens up his soft terry cloth bathrobe belt. And he says, I don't know. All right, spot me now. And he goes.
Perfect. So you take your lowest roll, so a 2, which is under your rat, which is 3, which means you succeed. I think you're kind of scrabbling for purchase for a second as you get used to climb. It's been a while, like you said. You've been out of the biz.
I've never climbed on marble like this
finding the
before.
marble footholds is a little tough, but you scrabble your way to the top, and you see a pretty nice view of the top of the palace, which does probably have some like open courtyards you could drop down into on the inside of it, as well as you can see the stable in the distance. They're not connected, but you can see, I mean, the stable, the barn has kind of like a couple guards in front of it. Like it looks, to some extent, it's a smaller space with slightly higher security. And let's see, I would say you can see that there are a couple kind of very relaxed guards. They're not super worried about someone trying to attack the home of the king and a god at the same time. So they're not super concerned about their work right now. You can see some maids still going late at night, getting some work done. And then I would say even in the distance, maybe you see sort of a cart, a small cart trundling up to the palace. It's like, looks like it's getting pretty close. It's not quite there. It's like aiming for the side entrances, but it's not quite there yet.
Yeah, I feel like Doubtful is just calling out everything he sees to the group.
Rat squeaks ring through the quiet night.
Squeak, squeak, squeak. I'm not sure, but it looks like there's a cart and there's 2 maids and there's some guards. And how many exits? One. I think it's one. That maybe that one's a half of one. 7.5 exits. 3 entrances.
What makes an entrance not an exit?
It's a great question.
You'd have to be up here to understand.
a true philosophical question for the ages.
I don't quite understand the half exit.
You're not too worried about entrances and exits. You're rats. You know how to, generally get in and out. Also, doors aren't always a good entrance or exit for you. So
That's true.
It's a little. If you really want to,
it's hard to count those. We
try
don't ever
and
use them.
nail down your escape options. That might be another role, like a criminal role.
Okay, yeah. Sure, I'll roll criminal. I guess
Okay.
yeah, escape like best entry exit point is like as I'm calling out. It's
Mhm.
coming back to me and maybe I'm like, "Oh yeah, we don't have to use doors. We're rats."
Mm-hmm.
What was I thinking?
Or rats. How could I forget?
4.
4. Okay, so you fail in your criminal roll. I think you sort of kind of you're trying to scurry along the tile a little bit, and you're maybe a little distracted as you're trying to like figure out like, okay, like there's a crack there, maybe it leads to a larger hole that we could squeeze through, like there's an open window that doesn't seem to be guarded. When you hear the very menacing sound of a hoo, hoo in the distance as one of your natural predators seems to be in the area. And unfortunately, Doubtful, I think you are filled with fear and you scurry back down to the ground floor.
Oh yeah, that is gotta
Get away.
Get out of there.
Get out of eyesight of this owl that seems to be in the area.
Alright, I got this. I'm gonna go up to the side of the road where this cart is coming. I'm gonna use my rat voice, my rat face, to make a mangled human voice. I'm gonna approximate. Oi, might stop it.
Okay. So if you would like to roll criminal to try and stop that cart somehow.
What if I argued for rat?
Absolutely not. Attempting human speech is criminal 100% of the time.
Okay, so I roll a d6.
2d6 because your face.
Oh, I am face, but I got a 2, and I think that's...
Yeah, that's
enough?
under 3. So you are able, okay, so you see kind of there's just a sort of older farmhand looking kind of man, weathered. He's got a straw hat on. He's got a piece of straw poking out. He's got like one donkey leading him in this cart, and it's got some stuff in the back. And he kind of goes, "Whoa, where? Wait, did somebody ask me to stop?" And he's kind of looking
Well, he stopped. I'll be
around.
like, Alright, ollie upsies. And I'm gonna scurry on into the cart.
Perfect. Okay, you scurry into the cart. Now, technically, you two were separate from the other two. Would everyone like to scurry into the cart?
Yeah, I think Scorn
Yeah.
Phil is going to follow.
Okay.
Now that the rest of the team has done their job.
Yeah, they've done a great job. Okay. Yeah, this old man kind of scratches his head and he's just like, "Oh, I gotta lay off the late night Rocky. Okay, let's go, Beatrice." And kind of gives a little hi-ya as they make it the last bit away to this sort of side door that you see does seem to lead into kind of like maybe like a smaller, almost like kitchen or like larder. It's more like a larder storage area. That's close-ish to the outside. While you are all in that cart, does someone want to roll rat for their sniffer?
Oh, I got a great sniffer. I got a great sniffer.
You do,
Not
but it's
too
a
great.
little confused this time. You kind
It's
of
hooked onto food, so I can't smell anything else.
yeah. It's hooked onto food, but we're close to the larder, and there's actually like a couple different varieties of food in here, so it's a bit confusing. There's an overwhelming scent of sort of herbs and spices, and you can't pinpoint everything. And then there's like this hint of sort of like smoke, like a smoke you've never smelled before, as well, kind of coming from the palace area. But we'll say that unfortunately you failed that one. But the old man pulls up to the side entrance, and he sort of he yells. He he's trying to be respectful because it's night, but he kind of throws his voice in a little bit, and he says, "Oh, Sophia, you in there? I've got the delivery for His Majesty." And a bustling sort of middle-aged woman comes out, and she says, "Oh, yes, thank you, Elias. Yes, he needs his special snack for the late nights." And she kind of goes into the back, and she hauls off. She starts hauling off these sacks filled with food. Now, were y'all hiding underneath those sacks of food?
Mm-hmm.
I believe so, probably.
I think
Probably.
You see,
Scorn Phil
there
has,
seems
like-
to be a high chance that someone might discover 4 conspicuous rats in there as the two of them start to
second
unload it.
The second one that goes up, Scorn Phil like leaps onto it and clings onto the
Yeah,
bottom of
I
the bag.
think-
And
Okay, nice.
We're
trying to get away
Odysseus
with
and the
the
sheep
bag.
here, but
Yes,
with
yeah.
Okay.
I'm down.
Okay. I think that might be criminal. This seems pretty clever rather than some quick-witted animal instincts. So, okay, Scornful, perfect.
He's a chunky boy. He doesn't.
Yeah,
he
thank
grows and
you.
Does not stay on.
I was going to say, as we'll do a group roll, if it's the worst, it was Scornful. Okay, so I think you all of you sort of grab onto the back, but Scornful went first. And so as maybe Elias is kind of picking up one, he didn't look too hard, but Sophia did. And so she kind of like feels it, and she's like, "Oh, this was a little heavier than normal." And she sort of like picks it up, looks at the bottom, and shrieks, "Ah!" As she sees a giant rat with its brain out, oddly enough. But she's not too focused on that part. Rats are disgusting, nasty creatures.
I think that Scornfil, he has like this little glass dome over his brain, right? And as he falls, he hits it on the ground and it cracks, and now his brain is just kind of out. He just has exposed brain, and he like stumbles up to the lady and is like, "Look what you did! You killed me! I'm gonna die now! You murdered me! How can you get away with this? I'm gonna have to call the police, and they aren't gonna be able to save me! Why would you do this to me?"
Yes, so you come up to this woman and you're sort of just squeak, 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 squeak. She is
Brain out.
Shrieked, been like, oh, rats, Elias, there's rats. Elias has dropped the bag he's holding, which let's say maybe has Boast Phil underneath it. So you're on imminent squish territory.
What is in these bags? Can we tell?
You could have told if somebody maybe had succeeded on their sniffer test, but if you want to make another roll to try and figure it out, you can.
Yeah.
It seems like there's a couple different things. They're not like all the same, but you could try and figure out what's in your bag if you'd like.
Can I use my carefully curated dragon-like talons and rip this bag open?
They're manicured.
Yes, your well-honed dragon talons can attempt to rip through this sort of just burlap
Can
cloth.
that be carnage?
Yeah, that's carnage. I would say that's rat carnage.
Okay, rat carnage.
Rat carnage.
No!
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Abby, your powers are working against you.
I can only roll high.
The powers that be. So, I think with that, let's do a couple of quick stat switches. I want Scorn Phil to switch from I think it was a criminal act that failed. So let's bring criminal down and increase rat. You've become frustrated. So your rat has actually gone up as your animalistic side takes over, and your criminal side has gotten worse. Now, meanwhile, the descendant of Balmyra, Boast Phil, has failed at a fairly easy.
Balmythresia? Get it right.
Balmythora has failed at a very easy dragon cat task, and unfortunately is feeling a little insecure in their rat-like capabilities, and will raise their criminal one and reduce rat, which I think puts y'all at 4 and 2. If you would ever like to change those, there's 2 options. If you want to move one from criminal to rat, you need to find a piece of trash or leftover food or something that's just sort of laying out there to eat, and kind of stuff your face to satiate your rat-like qualities and increase rat, decrease criminal. If you would like to raise criminal and decrease rat, then you need to flash back to a conversation with the Dawn where you ask the question about the heist and you help to plan something out. Or if you'd like, you could also do it with a co-conspirator if you'd like to wrangle in maybe one of your previous teammates and now current teammates. So you can switch those. And I want to be, I'm not going to put rules or limits on when you can do it, but don't do it all the time, I guess. Do it when you feel like it's necessary. Okay, so let's see. We got a lot happening here already. The heist seems to be struggling in its infancy. So this servant has screamed. I think even though you kind of failed at your task, Boast Phil, I think you succeed in a way that is bad. The sort of bag opens up and all this food comes tumbling out on top of you, burying you basically. So it's going to take a little, you're stuck where you're at. I think, let's say it's a bunch of sacks. It's some different sacks of grain or something. So they're pretty heavy and they've tumbled on top of you. You're okay, but you're trapped for the time being. Then let's see. Not boastful. I got to remember all your names, which is tough. Scorn Phil.
It's Phil. They're all Phil.
Phil,
What could possibly be hard about that, Sean?
Because I have to be specific which Phil it is. Scorn Phil, you are still being shrieked at by this lady, and she's asking for help. Elias is on his way. He's like, calm down, Sophia. I'll take care of him. And he pulls out, he's got a big cane. This is his rat whipping cane.
No good anymore. I'm gonna scurry on over to this pile of grain sacks. I'm gonna help out my friend. Gonna get him out from under here. I'm gonna do it by eating all the grain, because I can eat anything. I'm just gonna start pushing it out of the way, and then every couple I'll just grab a handful and eat it, and then I'll just go back to shoving it out of the way. I'm gonna try and get him out.
Excellent. Yeah, they're both distracted in a different direction at the moment, so that sounds like rat with 2 dice to me.
Perfect.
Oof.
God.
All right,
Oy
let's do another stat change. Things are looking a little rough. So let's reduce rat, raise criminal, because you failed at a rat roll. You try to eat through this and you realize this is way too much grain. It's like when you give birds bread, you're not supposed to. You start to feel bloated really fast. It's like gummying up your mouth.
I don't think that was a great idea.
So yeah, we'll just say that didn't work out so well for now. And
You hear from inside the grain pile, like, it's okay, Phil. A dragon does not fear an avalanche.
Alright, Phil. Well, this is grain, so let's just keep that in mind. But I think we'll still get you out of here some way. And I'm just gonna keep trying to eat, and then I think I'm gonna just get full, and then like belch really loudly, and just like slowly start to like shovel it as best as I can.
Okay. Let's see. Does
This is
Doubt
why
Phil
I'm
want to do
trying.
anything to help either group? Oh,
Doubt Phil. Doubt Phil is like, I knew this was a bad idea.
you hear the voice of the dawn. Failure is not an option.
And then he goes, Scornful. Oh, we're gonna do it like we did over in Arisia that one time. And he's going to allude to their criminal past, hoping that Doubtful will steal something of the people to like make them chase him, and Scornful can like follow from behind and like scare them also in the same direction, and with the cane get the man to hit the bags open.
Okay, this is a complex task.
Yeah,
This
so
is
it's like
definitely
it's
a
like
criminal
dance.
act.
Oh God, are you talking about the syllable? How is this? Jesus,
Yes,
it was so
I
hard
don't
the
wanna
last
do it.
time.
You made me do it.
The Reesian
but
Skelebaloo
now
of
you're making me
306.
do it.
You broke. None of this is good.
Jesus. All right, I'll scare him. Oh, Jesus.
Okay, well, maybe let's do 2 rolls as a 2-parter. So you want to steal something. What do you think you can steal maybe that
Or
would
like
help with this?
lead. Yeah, I want to like have the coin purse of Elias.
Okay, yeah, perfect. Okay, so you'll
So
roll.
he needs to get me.
Right, get
and
you
I
first.
run to each bag, and he goes, "Whatcha?"
Yeah. And he'll open the tenderize poor Boast
Yes.
Phil underneath there, but that's okay. A dragon fears
I'll
nothing.
save Boast Phil for last.
Dragon fears nothing. This is correct.
Okay, so let's start with rolling criminal.
The criminal.
With 2,
I'm a thief
since you're
with
trying to
2,
steal
yeah.
to get this action to
Mhm.
happen. And I think you're still at 3, so you have to get under 3. Nice. Okay,
Yes.
so you succeed. While they're all distracted, scurry on up. You see his coin purse. You just gnaw through it real quick like you've always done. Easy as butter. Take it, jingle it loudly in your hands. Elias sees it and he's like, "What? Wait, he got my coin purse. How'd that happen?" And then he starts kind of going over, whacking. He's older. His eyesight's not even that good, so he's trying his best, but it's pretty wild. They're pretty wild swings to begin with. You make it over the bags, and we'll say you open those up as well. So I think between the 2 of them, both Respect Phil and Boast Phil can kind of slowly make their way out. And then how about Scorn Phil, you roll something to sort of help with this herding motion, maybe?
I think maybe, yeah, I'm like trying to scare away Sophia to make it so we're only dealing with one person at a time.
Okay.
Get her to leave the room or something. So I chase after her, articulating in rat. I got the best fucking lawyer down on Main Street. All right, he's 222-3838. He's got a winningest record, and you're gonna hear from him. All right, you broke my favorite skull cap, and now he's gonna come and talk to you about it. All right, you don't want to have any part of this, and you're gonna be terrified of what he can do to you. All right, he will ruin your life, and you got nothing that's gonna stop him from doing that.
Perfect. Okay, so you are squeaking. Is this rat or criminal?
I think trying to scare a woman away is rat.
That seems
And
pretty
she's-
ratty to me.
She's being chased by a rat with its brain out,
Yeah, pretty
gesticulating
scary.
wildly at her. I think that's pretty
and,
terrifying.
and
Is
squeaking
the
in
brain
rage.
dragging on the floor?
No. It's like it's weird because the brain it's not like a squishy mass. It's like hardened skin on the outside. This brain is routinely exposed to air. Like it's kind of dried and crusty.
Keratinized.
Yeah, it's a little bit protective. It's a semi-skull.
I love
Okay.
that in your mind, Sarah, it was like a slinky brain.
It's just slowly unraveling like a big fucking spaghetti.
Of a rat dragging its brain? Yeah.
Okay, so roll.
Maybe it's detachable. Maybe I can like pop it out and put it on the ground and like limp after her and then put it back in.
Roll for rat, and I don't know if any of your special traits apply
I'd say
to this.
terrify.
Oh, terrify.
definitely
Yes,
counts.
definitely. Okay, yeah, 2.
No.
rat is
4.
No, rat is
Oh,
His
4.
rat is
Good,
4
good.
right now. Perfect. Okay,
Yeah, good,
so
good.
you
That's
you
success.
met it.
We get rid of her.
Yeah. You succeed. Sophia is terrified. She runs shrieking off into the distance. Of course, she's not quiet, unfortunately, but she is gone. So now it is just Elias with his cane whacking at poor Doubtful. But everyone's free now, so there's been enough time. You know, everyone's free. It's just sort of it's just Doubtful that's caught up with Elias.
Has been exposed. Have any of the sacks?
Yeah,
cut
we'll
open.
say in the chaos, some of the sacks have kind of unraveled. You do hear maybe some footsteps hurrying over, maybe even some clomping metal from like a guard, but you also smell distinctly, impeccably, especially respectful. You are a connoisseur of foods of all kinds, and while your nose was confused, you've had a moment of clarity. As one air passageway was gummed up with grain, the other passageway took over, and
Throwing out a whole grain.
one kernel. You smell what you can tell is the finest, highest quality Arisian goat shank you have ever smelled in your life. And you know there is some primo meat hiding in one of these sacks. And if you'd remember correctly, you're supposed to collect some meat from certain bad meat that's gonna be present today. But it seems like there was a special delivery just for the king.
And that bag is open?
I think it's just, the ties have loosened a tiny bit. So you can, a little more of the aroma has come out. So it's still in the cart because they're sort of offloading, got interrupted, but more people are coming. It's probably, at the end of the day, it's probably going to make its way into the palace. It seems important.
So
There was a special delivery happening.
As this chaotic scene is unfolding around me, I think I'm just sitting there on the grain, lounging next to Boast Phil. I think that's the important sack. So we best be getting into that one. Y'all two mosey on in, and I'll go distract that one, and then you have Doubtful follow you in, and then we'll all get in, and I think I'll be fine.
Get in the
Sound
sack.
good? Yeah, I think it's the important sack. So if it's going in, we gotta go with it.
Okay.
And it's been proper open, so we can just get on in with the meat,
Doubtful's like, I don't know how much I can keep him. It's like hopping and
Okay,
popping.
Elias is slowing down a little bit. He's getting tired. He's,
I'm gonna
this is a
scurry on up
feisty
to
one.
the cart, so I'm sort of at eye level with him, and then I'm gonna start beatboxing to him.
Has that been
I'm gonna
invented
be
yet?
like, all right, this is a hot new mixtape. I'm making it this summer. Everyone in Mytros is gonna be listening to it. I'll give you a little bit of a demo now, if you're interested. I think it might behoove you to get a little sample, and I'm just gonna start beatboxing again. I'm trying to distract him so that Doubtful can get into the meat bag.
I
With the
toss.
breast.
I will try and toss the coin back to like the driver's seat or whatever. At least in that direction, or in like
Okay. Yeah.
away
Yeah.
from us.
And my intention is to completely overwhelm him so he thinks he's like gone crazy, like a rat is beatboxing to him.
Yeah.
Like,
Something bad was in that.
I don't want his attention. I want him to doubt his reality.
Yes. Okay. That's great. I think that Doubtful can throw the coin purse pretty easy. That's sort of in your wheelhouse. Beatboxing as a rat seems criminal. Though I don't like
agree,
saying it
yeah.
that way, but it's definitely not rat, so thus it falls under criminal.
Yes. Okay.
So please roll
And
criminal.
would this count as face? I'm just trying to communicate with the good sir.
Sure.
Communicate insanity.
Okay, perfect. You succeed. So, Doubtful throws this coin purse. Elias, of course, he's not a man of many means. He's more interested in his coin purse really than a rat. Kind of turns over to look at it and starts gonna go grab it. And then, yeah, here's some rhythmic squeaking and noises happening. And he sort of slowly turns over. And a look of both the pure terror and astonishment crosses his visage as you expertly beatbox at him. Honestly, it's quite beautiful. It will be the hottest mixtape of Mytros, yeah. And he sort of scratches his head, sits down, and he says, "Oh, what happened to that? Oh, that Rocky, there must have been something in there. What even?" And sort of just like rests against the side of the cart. Yeah, and you're free to scurry on in.
Hi, glad you like it. And I'm going to scurry in near the meat sack and cozy on up with my compatriots.
Okay, so you scurry on in. There are now 4 rats in a canvas bag with, I think, sort of a wrapped piece of meat that you can tell it's like a large, this is a large piece of goat sort of that's been cut off. And actually, Phil.
Which one?
Respect Phil.
So
Yes.
This is so tempting. I feel like you should have to roll something to resist eating some of this prime Arisian goat.
Well, you see, in my mind, he said I can't eat any of the bad meat. But I think this is pretty good meat at the moment. So it don't qualify for the bad meat, and I'm free to peruse it. As I'm like getting close to just taking a bite, yeah.
Yeah, if you would like to, you can roll something to resist. Otherwise, you're just gonna take a couple bites out of it.
I will respect the objectives we will give it. I'll try to resist.
I was gonna say, can I slap him out of the way and try and stop him from doing that?
Let's give him a chance to resist. We'll have you roll criminal to resist your rat instincts to eat.
Nice.
Cool. Okay, you succeed. Y'all see Phil's sniffer and Nars get a little closer and closer, but at the last minute, he sort of pulls back. At that same time, you hear a couple of women from the outside muffled back, like, Elias, what happened? Are you okay? Is everything okay? And then you hear the stomping of a guard, and he's like, oh, what happened? Sophia was in such a distress. Elias, are you okay? Is anything wrong? And Elias is like, there were rats, and they were beatboxing, and there was grain everywhere. And he seems vaguely traumatized. One of them starts patting his hand before she's like, get the rest of the shipment inside. The king needs this tonight. And you feel your bag get lifted up as you guys get sort of swung into the air unceremoniously and dropped inside of the larder. I will say you hear someone go. I think you hear one of the sort of cooks maybe go talk to one of the girls. He's like, okay, well, I'm going to prepare this. I'll need to take it out, get it ready for the king, but he'll be here to get it in about 5 minutes or so. All right, but in the meantime, I'll prep this, and then everyone's free to go. We'll leave it for him where he requested, and that will be that. So shoot, scurry on, take care of Elias. He's poor man's too old to be doing this, I think. And you hear some steps, and you hear a knife getting sharpened. It sounds like someone's gonna be getting into this sack of meat in just a second.
Go, 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 go,
In the
go,
larder?
go.
Sorry?
Like when no one's around the bag anymore, we're like set up on a shelf or something.
Yeah, I think y'all are set to the side for a second. There's maybe you can sense that there's the chef. There's this kind of preparer who's readying some stuff. He's maybe the only other person in the room, but he's about to open up a bag of 4 rats and some lamb. So
we got to get out.
So it's now you've
we
got
could get inside the lamb. We could just keep going deeper.
It's lambception.
We smack. Snap out of it.
And then Cassis
I
will
think
be
we get out of
making
that.
his way around here soon, maybe to come get it. But
I feel like Doubtful is going to chew through the bag to like the place. I feel like you can hear the footsteps of the assistant, the chef, and like he's gonna go in through the opening. So he's gonna chew through the place that he thinks no one will see him.
Perfect. Yeah. Let's just do kind of like a rat stealth roll to see if y'all can scurry on out while no one's looking, and hide kind of in the larder for a moment.
Okay. Me for everybody?
Yeah. Why not? Unless someone's good at stealthing. I don't think anyone's got
I don't
sneaky.
think we have the stealthy skill.
No, yeah, I can't remember what everyone's traits are. Okay.
Anyway, so Doubtful's like
And this will be a rat move.
chewing his way through. Oh, did it go through? Let's try again. He just goes.
Ooh, okay.
Oh no.
So you do not succeed, and on a 6, I am allowed /
Contractually
encouraged /
obligated.
contractually obligated to create complications for you. So this is gonna get a little more complicated. So you are in this bag. You're chewing your way through. You're like, perfect. This will be so easy. I'll get us out. It'll be fine. And then you hear one of the you hear the chef, the preparer. He's like, oh, sense, you're not supposed to be in here. Shoo. And then you finish opening that little hole. You rip it open with your little mousy hands to look out, and you look directly into the slitted yellow eyes of a feline who's staring directly at you. So this is a distinctly.
I can't do this, guys. I'm retired. We said no cats. The dog promised me no cats.
The Dawn makes no promises. So you have come to face with a distinctly pink-ishly toned, distinctly hairless, and distinctly yellow-eyed feline who seemed to know exactly where you were, and whose name maybe is Sense, and is looking right at you, kind of smiles, and is like, hello, my pretties. And I think is going to very soon take a swipe at you. How would y'all like to extricate yourself from this situation?
I pushed Phil aside. I'm like, feline terror, you do not threaten us. And I put a bunch of the grain from the grain I was buried into my mouth. I'll be like, with all the grain in my house, behold, Mytros! And like dragon's breath. The grain.
Boast Phil used bullet seed.
Yeah. Okay. I think that is. I can't tell if your derangement is rat-based or criminal-based, to be frank.
You must tell me.
This seems very. Oh, God. I feel like in this moment, it's tapping into your primal sense of self, so we'll go with rat.
Perfect.
So roll rat.
Use can I have 2 because of muscle?
Yes. You can have 2 to try and overpower.
Oh,
Woo,
yes.
That was lucky. Okay. You come up to this this cat. The cat she's completely unconcerned. She's like, y'all are right in front of me, stuck in this bag. I am about to have the snack of my life. But little did she know, the spawn of Balmoria is here, and she is going to spray her deadly dragon breath at them, and you proceed to blind the cat. It's sort of sneezing and coughing and pawing at its face for a moment, and y'all have a second to escape, but you also, the chef notices all this, and I think he sees a bit of movement, and he's like, rats! Oh my gosh. Ugh. Sense, do your job. Get the rats. Otherwise, I'm going to have to get Cleo. Okay, and so I think we're going to have to do, and then Sense kind of feels a little bit of shame about this, failing her cat duties. She'll move one from cat to criminal, or bounty hunter, but it's fine. And then so she kind of like, despite kind of still pawing at her eyes, she jumps down and starts to give chase. So I would like y'all to do a little bit more to try and escape Sense. Sense is kind of the ratter, one of the ratters of the palace.
I have 2 things I would like to say. First, while we're in this bag and everybody else is shuffling about doing all of their stuff, I want to rip off a piece of the meat and stick it in my lab coat pocket, just in case this is the meat that they want.
Yeah, sure.
And as we tumble, we need like a known good sample, right? That's just good scientific process.
That's good science.
So as we tumble out of this bag and now we're running away from the cat, I, of course, a graduate of the Mytros Institute of Technology, class of 499.
I was going to say, MIT would be so proud of you.
Yes, exactly. And I always come prepared. I always have an answer, a solution. And from my pockets, can I pull out just a series of mechanical spiders and just chuck them at the cat, and it has like little crawling robot spiders all over its face now? That feels like a thing I would do.
Rat for sure.
I'm sorry.
That's rat for sure.
That's
Yeah,
rat for
it
sure.
feels bad.
No.
A rat with spider friends. That's normal.
John would like to resist this concept.
I would like to resist this. I will allow you to pull out rats from your lab, or your spiders from your lab pocket, but we have a finite supply of mechanaria to sort of like draw upon.
Can we say I have 5 spiders and I throw 3 of them at the cat?
Okay, sure. That sounds good to me. That definitely sounds.
Amazonian technology.
I made this myself. All right, this was my thesis project. Don't fucking attribute it to those hacks over there in Amazonia. All right, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. These are handcrafted. I spent weeks brazing the metal myself. All right, get the fuck out of here with that Amazonia shit.
All right, roll criminal for me.
Can I roll 2 dice, since this is a pretty brains move to have mechanical?
Yes, you can.
All right. God, I love when Sean's the DM. He's so generous. The dice, however, are not so generous.
Is your criminal at 2?
Yes, it is.
Okay, well, you throw these spiders behind you, hoping for the best. But they don't seem to succeed. They're kind of small, even by rat standards. So by cat standards, they're tiny. Sense just sort of like swats 2 of them away and then pounces on the last one and crushes it, much to your chagrin. There's no recovering those. But and it's still giving hot chase. I would say y'all can try one more time, maybe to.
So we're in a kitchen, like an ancient kitchen-ish, adjacent to. There's probably other rats Question mark. Can I, as we're running, can I look around and see if I see any other animals besides us and a cat and mechanical spiders?
Roll a d6.
Oh, nice.
Ugh, I love that for you.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, you do see another animal. Not when you were expecting. You see kind of a small hole that like a crack had formed in some of the masonry, and you can see that part of the stone is chipped away, and there's this sort of like asymmetrical kind of triangular hole. It's just big enough, you think, for y'all to squeeze through. And in it you can see two little bright beady eyes. Just sort of these eyes glinting in the dark, and you hear a tiny little voice say, "Hey, friends, do you need some help? You can come with me. I can help you."
Oh, thanks, mate. It's a proper mess out here. We're running for our lives, you see.
Yeah, she's super scary.
Oh, for sure. You think mind if we come on in?
Yeah, come on in. You hear some scurrying, some scuttling as you go on in.
All right, we got a friend in here. And I'm just gonna just go in.
Yeah,
We're getting
okay.
anglerfished. I don't know what it is, but we're getting
We're
anglerfish.
giving snake. I don't know.
You guys scurry in just in time. The last of you, your little pink tail kind of whips around the corner and into the tunnel that you now find yourself in, just as a pink paw comes slashing through kind of and keeps beating after you and meowing plaintively. And in front of you, you're in kind of tight court. You're sort of like, you find yourself sort of like in between, in the inner space between two walls. So it's kind of tight, but you can see there's lots of like structural joists and all sorts of things. So it's kind of like you could easily relatively easily scale up and down and whatever. It's very dusty. You see cobwebs everywhere, and in front of you, you see a tiny even by rat standards, adorable little black spider. And she says, "Hello, my name's Ariadne. I can help y'all. What are you doing here? I don't know who you are. I've never met you before."
Well, I'm Phil. That's Phil. That's Phil. And that's Phil. And we're
Oh,
Phil
I've
Team
met a
6.
Phil before.
Oh, yeah, probably. There's a bunch of us. Yeah, we're here in the palace doing some cool stuff. So,
Oh,
we appreciate you letting us hang out in your little home.
yeah, Sense is really scary. I don't like her.
Sense, unusual name.
Yeah, the cat.
Oh, I don't like her.
Well, I mean, none of the Phils usually like her. I think that's the
see
point.
why? Yeah, she ain't very friendly. Anyway, we might hang out here for a bit, but hope you don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, that's okay. Just don't wake up my mom, okay? She's sleeping. She works really hard. But what are y'all doing here?
Oh, it's just some top secret stuff. Can't really tell you, but I could sell you the hottest album of the summer if you're interested. Your mom like hip hop?
I don't know, but I think I just told you to be quiet, so please don't sing.
Oh wait, ain't singing. It's beatboxing.
That's close enough.
Similar, I guess. Yeah, well, you'll miss out.
Okay, so Ariadne's there. She's quite helpful. She is kind of like, "Well, do you need help getting somewhere? I mean, you can get like anywhere through these walls."
Huddle.
Okay.
Huddle.
Alright,
Huddle.
we that meat. We know that's a special meat, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
I don't
think
know.
it's
I don't think special yet.
It's the pre-special meat, you know? I don't think it's special yet, but I think it's
Uh-huh.
gonna be special. So we
In the
gotta
kitchen.
follow it.
Uh-huh.
But probably ain't gonna happen in the kitchen, you know? They're probably gonna take it somewhere else.
Okay,
So
we'll
we
just
could.
follow it and see.
Yeah, but we could Hey,
You see Ariadne, she's actually in the middle of your huddle. She's so small. She just had it. She's like, yeah, so they take the meat every week over to this special room with Castus, and he just sort of does something to it. We're not really sure what, because we don't really care. But he locks the room behind himself, but you can get through it from here if you want.
Oh, well, that's very helpful. You should have led with that.
Well, y'all wouldn't tell me what you were doing. It was kind of rude. I just saved your life.
I'm sorry, but I
I
could tell you the whole plan if you'd like, but it'd take a while.
Okay, well, as you kind of are talking with Ariadne for just a second, you hear the chef. You can kind of distantly hear the chef finish kind of chopping. You hear him kind of like, he seems to be maybe cutting the meat into sort of shanks and then plating it more or less fairly roughly. And then you also hear him kind of admonish Sense a little bit. And he's like, Sense, what are you doing? You didn't get him? Come, we can't have rats in the palace. Agastus and Valis will freak out. This is your one job. Whatever. And then he kind of leaves it at that. After a little bit, you maybe hear him talking to one of the other sort of, I keep wanting to say chambermaids, but they're not chambermaids. They're just kind of one of the servant women helping out with the pantry. And he's like, okay, well, I'm going to go bring this over to where Castus needs it. And then we're done for the night. Just make sure everything's put away and maybe raise some of the food up off the floor. Seems we've got some rats again. We'll try and bring Cleo and Sense back over here and see if they can deal with it overnight. And you hear her just agree to that. She starts shuffling around, prepping stuff as you hear his footsteps sort of clump, 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 walking away to an unknown location.
We need to follow that meat.
Yeah, sure. Wait, you need to follow me? That's weird. Anyways. Okay, follow me. And then she just starts climbing at a startling speed. With no care, she can traverse cobwebs, walls, beams. She's got
a deep sense
problem.
of professional pride comes
Yeah. This is a masterful climber, if you ever saw one.
Kid, I'm retired, but if you're ever interested in getting some extra jobs now and then, you know who to call.
She's like upside down on one of those joists. She like scurries around and she's like, "No, thank you." And then, I don't need a job. I'm a kid. And then she keeps scurrying and she kind of looks down and she's like, "Hurry up, slowpokes." And she leaves. She's starting to leave you in the dust. So you will need to make a climbing roll. Since this is a group effort, though, I would like someone who is not good at climbing, does not have an advantage at climbing to make the roll.
I would like to resist that consequence.
It will be a rat-based roll, but this is a group.
My rat is currently 2.
Me too.
My rat's 4. So
Wow.
sounds like it might be me.
Yeah, someone's in tune with their rat side.
Mm-hmm. Just one die? Here we go.
Yeah, just one. Whew.
Yeah!
Clean.
We did it.
Clean. Okay. So Doubt Phil takes the lead because he is the consummate climber of the group. But then you sort of and he's helping to find the way, point out the footholds, you know.
Well, reach for that over there, and maybe don't put your foot there.
Right, yeah. Use your tail for balance on this, blah, blah, blah. And then Scorn Phil sort of picks up the rear as you keep going. And you sort of make your way through, and you can see like there are cracks in some of the walls. Every now and then you can sort of like peek out, and maybe sometimes you catch a glimpse of like his footsteps, or you can just hear some of the resounding as he sort of turns the corner. And eventually you get to, I think, sort of a very densely webbed area. One that is like there's been cobwebs, but it hasn't been anything crazy. Here you're like, well, this is web, and then she's like, oh, sorry, this is my home, so there's a lot of webs. Just be careful. Like I said, try not to wake up Mom. I'm not supposed to wake her up. She works really hard, and so I try to let her get a full 8 hours of sleep every day. Okay? But if you can try, there's not really a clear area of webs, but like try and make your way through without disturbing anything. Okay, good luck. She sort of scurries on through, but come this way, and you can hear her voice. With some of your goal is to traverse the webs with the least amount of disturbance possible. How you would like to approach that is up to you.
I can eat anything,
You can,
including cobwebs.
including sound vibrations. These are maybe more than cobwebs. These are full webs.
Okay, well, that still falls under anything.
Yeah, that's true.
What a
Correct.
catch-all! This is incredible.
As a physical object, it is anything.
Wow. Okay. So I think I could do some strategic eating to like nibble here and like have some of it fall and like make a little hole for us to go through. So we're not just like tearing down everything and making a bunch of like vibrations in the web. So just like little tiny like precise vibrations as we're going.
Okay, yeah. That sounds good. So that sounds like criminal with maybe
agree.
2 dice.
Would you believe that my mouth is on my face?
Are you trying to get 3 dice?
This is some road rise reasoning here.
Oh.
I just want to bring this.
I don't get to do this often, Sarah, so I gotta really rake it in.
I don't think you can.
Oh, no.
Oh my god!
You needed that face. You needed a face.
Okay. All right. So you. Okay.
I'm still really full from the grave.
Ooh, yeah, you're still
I
really
feel like
full
your
for the
mouth
game.
is now full of sticks.
And also you're like, you know, your body weight, it's sort of bloated. You're feeling a little unbalanced. So yeah, so now you've started to eat through these webs. Ariadne's like watching you and she's like, what are you doing? As you sort of nosh on these webs and you're like,
Oh, I mean to see your house?
this is tough to get through. It's like peanut butter, but 10 times worse. It's really sticking in you.
Made of.
Ariadne's like, I don't know, my mom makes it.
She's really good at making this.
Yeah, I know. Why are you eating it? And then something you're in the zone. You're in the eating zone, even though your mouth is sort of kind of getting stuck, and you sort of tumble off of this ledge. You don't fall far because you find yourself stuck in a web that's right there, and you sort of trying to roll yourself over, and Ariadne's like, stop doing that. Please stop doing that right now. And then you hear from the depths a voice that says, oh, Ariadne, honey, what are you doing? What's happening? Who's making these vibrations? And sort of,
Ariadne, you got live for us.
and she's like, hi, Mom. I just have some friends. We're just passing through. And she's like looking at you guys and looking at you. She's like her little mandibles are like get him. It's fine. Please go back to sleep, Mom. It's okay. And the voice from the deep, you kind of hear this sort of scuttling, rustling, chitinous noise, kind of rubbing together of mandibles. Goes, oh, you're such a sweet girl, Ariadne, but I'm so hungry. Who are these friends? Ariadne's like, they're not delicious or yummy or plump at all, and they're definitely not your favorite food, which is rats named Phil. And you see finally this shape. One long leg emerges from a deep depth of webs, followed by another long leg, and then 6 more. Big eyes, 8 big eyes, large mandibles, and you see the biggest spider you've ever seen in your life by rat standards, easily 3 feet across.
Jesus.
Wait, by human feet or rat
Human feet.
Oh my God! Ariadne,
It's sort
what
of
the hell, girl?
squeezing. This is maybe one of the fewer open areas of this sort of interior, but granted, a lot of that spread is legs, but still quite big. And she kind of scutters and like turns and looks at y'all. She sees all 3 of you and sees one little Respect Phil caught in her web, and she says, "Oh, Ariadne, thank you for bringing your guests. My name is Arachne. It's a pleasure to meet you. Now, you 3 can leave, but I think I have a dinner date with your friend." And she starts scurrying over at an alarming speed. What would you like to do?
Sounds reasonable enough. Let's thank you, ma'am. Pleasure doing business with you. We got a date on the other side of the castle. We're gonna go hit up that. Toodaloo. And Scorn Phil
Why are you
fucking
Australian
books it.
suddenly?
He's lost his mind. He's terrified. He just guns it down the hall.
How stuck is Respectville?
It's stuck enough that he can't. Maybe he could get out on his own, but it would probably be faster and better if somebody else helped him.
I would like to whip off the belt of my soft terry cloth robe. And
Be free!
I'm now a very breezy rat.
Terrifying. Ariadne says, "Please put that away."
I'm a minor.
Look away, kid. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Just like grandpa in a sauna vibes.
I'm gonna lower the belt like a rope. I'm gonna like dangle myself from the nearest non-sticky web and help pull, like get his little paw near the robe belt and like help pull him free.
Okay.
So he has purchase essentially to just kind of like, pull himself up.
Yeah. Let's see. There's something else. Okay, so roll. What do you feel like that is to you? Rat or criminal? I think it sounds criminal to me.
It's feeling criminal.
It's feeling criminal.
Yeah.
It's feeling criminal. It's kind of feeling climb adjacent.
Adjacent.
Oh,
Yes,
adjacent.
it is climb adjacent.
Don't make fun of him. He's giving us help.
I know. I did do it with the intent of it being slightly acrobatic.
I
so-
imagine, yeah, it's like when you drop a spy down in between the laser wires, and
Yes.
you've traversed. You're going in between all of the webs.
Maybe I weight the end of the rope too, really.
And then you're gonna have
quickly,
to
like, I
help
make a
climb
knot.
him up. You're
Yeah.
gonna have to climb up that road or have another rat help you. So roll 2 under criminal. And then at the same time, because I believe it was Respect Phil that failed at another rat based, the eating is not going good. Why don't you move one more? Wait. Yeah, from rat to criminal, which I think puts your criminal at 5. You're muted, so I don't know what you're
All
saying.
right, Respectful, this is just like the time at the docks, okay? I'm coming for you.
Perfect. Okay, what was Respectful was asking a question?
I
It
said,
sounded like...
remind me what happens when I get to 6.
Yes. So, okay, if you're in at 5 on any of your scores, you're in the danger zone. There are 2 options because remember, there's 2
Danger
rats
zone.
inside of you. One is a rat and one is a criminal. if the criminal rat inside of you ever reaches 6, you fall into a life of crime, betray your group, and go AWOL, basically. If your rat moves to 6, then you flip out, become your bestial self, and you lose it, and you also become unavailable to the group. So if you don't ever want to reach 6 in any of your stats, because that's kind of end of the line for your Phil. But remember, you can always move one from, you can rebalance your seesaw by either doing a flashback with the dawn to raise criminal, or you can eat some trash to reduce criminal, raise rat, blah, 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 so on. Okay, but it looks like you were saved by Doubtful. And so, Doubtful, you get down there, you see that Respectful is stuck. You kind of, maybe with your sharp little claws, you start cutting it. You're able to cut away some of the webs, and soon enough, the two of you are free, climbing up. Now, Arachne is coming in hot, but you're making your way up to the top of your soft terry cloth belt. But you still have a very large spider to deal with, and Ariadne's like, come this way really quick, and maybe we can outrun her.
When we're running, or when I'm up there finally, can I find myself conveniently behind Scorn Phil? And I want to just take a whiff.
I think Scorn Phil already ran, technically.
Scorn Phil's gone. I mean, he
so-
booked it.
Okay, I'll wait then. Well, is there any
And which
trash
way do you think
around?
Scorn Phil booked it? Towards
I
Ariadne,
don't
or?
know.
Whatever
Probably.
direction the footsteps went, right? I mean,
Yeah, okay.
Scorn Phil knows the objective, and he's going to play the objective.
Right. Okay, yeah.
Right.
So you've kind of already barreled your way through and started to make a path through a lot of these webs, but you're maybe make a roll for that to make sure you don't, because you're just barreling through the webs. So make sure you don't get caught in one. I think you should roll rat. And then if you succeed, you'll have
perfectly fair.
built a tunnel almost for everyone else to follow through.
Okay.
Nice.
No.
Okay.
No.
So you make it to the very last web. You're running, your face is covered. You can barely see. And then you hit this. Ariadne's on the other side, and she's like, okay, come on. You're so close. Let's go. You hit it, and then you thought you were gonna just make it through that one like every other, but somehow it's just a little stronger, a little stickier. You're not quite sure what happened, and you sort of just faceplant face first into this last piece of web, and you're stuck good.
While he's stuck, can I come up behind him and I just want to take a nice little nibble from the meat he has stored in his pocket? And I want to count that as trash.
I don't know if I count that as trash.
Okay. Alternatively,
I think if you looked around, maybe you'd find some strange things caught in these webs.
Okay.
But
okay, as I'm running, I'll look around for trash.
okay,
I am hungry.
you're hungry. I think you see sort of all sorts of stuff has been. You see, like, what does a spider have used for any sort of thing? You see the oldest, most desiccated piece of cheese you've ever seen attached to
lovely.
the skeleton of a mouse that's like about to eat it. It's all comically sort of posed. And then there's
Modern
just this
art.
shriveled hunk of cheese in its
That's
desiccated
anything.
hands. And you can eat that.
Yoink that on my way as I'm eating it. And
Okay.
I think I'm so nursed in eating it that I just bumble right into Scornfield's butt.
Okay. Do you want that to do something? Or is that narrative?
Probably narrative.
Okay. Okay. So what's happening with the other two? Doubtful just did an advanced extraction routine. What is Boast Phil up to?
Does this spider? Can we get past this spider? Or does it need it distracted?
You could get past it. I'm imagining y'all are sort of like on an upper ledge almost, and the spider's sort of down below in the heart of its area, and it's making its way up towards y'all. So y'all are sort of moving this way, and the spider's kind of moving up towards you. So as y'all keep moving this way, it's gonna kind of change trajectory to get to you. But you could try and distracting it would be valuable. It would probably win enough time to extricate everyone out of that last piece of web, as well as make sure it doesn't follow you, or help make sure it has a harder time following you.
Okay. I think this is not a good idea, but
No, it's not. Please do it though.
Do it. It is.
as we're making our way, I'm gonna look down at the spider and I'm going to be like, "Ma'am, you are a glorious creature, and it takes one to know one." And I'm going to regale her with the mythology of my descendancy and birth, and try to convince her that, in fact, we should not fight each other because we're both unique and valuable creatures to Thylea.
Okay, so
That's
interesting.
very up to your name.
So what would you like to roll for that? That sounds like a criminal act, not a
It
very
sounds
ratty
like
act.
criminal.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree.
It also doesn't sound particularly, just
Muscly
one
or
roll.
carnagey, yeah.
No, okay.
But that's a success.
That's a success. Okay, perfect. Let's see. Arachne sort of makes her way up. You see like one leg. She's like sees that you've stopped, and she's maybe honed in on you, and it's like maybe she thinks you've sort of like stopped out of fear, and one leg sort of pinces down onto the stone next to you, and then another leg, and then these sort of big mandibles and eyes come up, and she's like, "Hello, darling. We're going to get to know each other so well."
I know you've heard of the great and powerful BAM lady, so we
The BAM lady, you say?
Oh yes.
And what does this BAM lady have to do with me?
You are magnificent. I am magnificent. We will appreciate each other.
Well, you are quite the flatterer. That is true. Tell me more about how beautiful and wonderful I am, and maybe we'll see what happens then. And you regale her with how wonderful she is, as well as history, and you find Arachne's a well-studied historian, actually. She's got quite a lot to say about the topic. So you found one of her interests. And it seems like you've struck up a wonderful friendship, actually, with...
Every time I compliment her, I compliment myself on the same thing.
And she agrees. She says, "You're totally right, honey. That is true."
Your 8 legs are long and glorious, just like mine.
She says, "Well, they could be a little shinier and more lustrous like mine, but your fur has a certain quality that is just incomparable. Now go. It's fine. I'll find a different meal today. Consider yourselves lucky."
There's a cat out there. You're big enough to take her on. I think that could be a good possibility.
The cat is under someone's protection, and I cannot feast on it yet. But one day, we will see. Anyways, be off. I grow tired. I need another rest. Be careful,
before you go.
Ariadne. No,
Your
she's...
daughter
Get
is
up and we're all
wonderful.
friends.
She like hisses at you and then turns away. She's like, "Mom doesn't
like
make friends
hip-hop?
easily." I'm
I
impressed.
don't think she likes hip hop.
Okay. With that, with the conquering of the great Arachne and the new friendship for the ages, we will take a quick 10-minute break and see you soon. Bye. Work up.
And we're back. And I'm just back as a DM. Hi, you recognize me. I'm Logan. I'm just doing the loading screen this week. So
Ooh, we get
the
a loading
lore,
screen.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
So this
Please tell me
is
it's rat based.
a small snippet from the Ravings of Chandris. It is.
Oh, it is rat based. Good.
I hate goatlings.
Wow, true poetry
Oh my
from
God.
Chandris, from our
Chandris.
man Chandris. He's really bringing it home. Okay, so we left off. We all just finished dealing with Arachne, befriended her, strangely enough, at least one of you. And Ariadne now is like, okay, well, I wasn't expecting that, but good job. Anyways, let's go this way. And I'll take you to that room. And so she scurries on through the crawl, kind of that intermediary crawl space like we talked about. And you eventually come out, all of you, to, I think, like basically it opens up onto sort of a beam, and you see you're in kind of a small-ish room, really only lit by a couple torches, and y'all are above it. You're sort of on these cross beams. There's like 3 cross beams maybe that span the top as structural supports. And all of you kind of come parading off one of them, and you see the chef seems to have already left the meat out, and you can see this room it's fairly small, but it's set up with all sorts of like strange plants and ingredients and pots and poultices and sort of jars and vials, and you can see all sorts of strange stuff in here. Very odd, looks like a medicinal, like alchemist setup, basically, with this meat at sort of like a central table just waiting there. And Ariadne says, okay, have fun, it was nice meeting y'all, bye. And then she scurries off. I gotta go home.
Bye.
And I think as you sort of you have an opportunity, if you'd like, to explore the room itself a little bit, but there's a small lull before, as no one's in it right now, but you imagine it will soon be utilized by a Castus. Or you can just wait for him to come by. You're in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, I imagine we're like all looking through a little peephole, but
Yeah.
just see.
Yeah. Okay. So you wait for a little bit, chat amongst yourselves for a second, squeak at each other.
While we're squeaking at each other, can I go back into the rafters that we were just in and like find a way to fashion a rope out of some of the cobweb? Like find the really strong structural web parts, pull those together, and then twist them into a rope.
Yeah, definitely. Roll criminal for that, as you sort of try to engineer a rope.
Engineer is a very brainy word.
That's true. I would say this is a brainy activity.
And it's not a brainy success, that's for sure.
Is your criminals at 2?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You start to, I think, you start to try and get all of these cobwebs together. You're almost like trying to roll them in the dust to sort of coat them and make them so they're not sticky. But instead, they just get all stuck up on your hands. And it is more or less a complete failure. At the same time as you're sort of doing this, you hear some blustering outside before you hear one little key kind of turn, click, and then a regal figure crowned with gold laurels and a scepter kind of stride into the room commandingly. And he's sort of like, it closes the door, locks it behind him, just sort of says to himself, perfect, before he starts getting set up at this alchemy table. And you can see he's sort of very confidently moving all of these ingredients together, kind of mixing them up, boiling what needs to be boiled, grinding up different herbs and everything. And eventually he's sort of got this, let's see, he's got he sort of opens up his robe, and you can see that he's got like a very thin bandolier almost. And on that bandolier is exactly one vial of the most radiant golden liquid you've ever seen. It looks like molten gold held in this vial. And he's got a little cauldron in front of him, pulls out this vial, kind of carefully, extremely carefully uncorks it, pours in one drop of this liquid, sort of oozes out kind of like honey for just one perfect drop to just before he quickly caps it, sticks it back, and then sort of kind of like covers up himself with his robe.
Hi, bruv. That looks like a secret ingredient if I've ever thought of one. We all get that, right?
I can't.
You lost your voice.
hear
It's all gummed up with. It's all
because
gummed up.
Yeah, you identified it. Good job. Good job. So proud of you. Go fucking call your mama something.
Well, my mom ain't here anymore. Thanks for asking.
All right, and so Cass is then sort of, you can see there's a change in this liquid. It kind of takes on a strange greenish, shimmering hue as he then kind of like, he basically like cooks the meat in this almost to some extent. He kind of turns off the heat, but he sort of lets it, drops in these sort of cuts of meat and lets them soak in this potion for a little bit. After like, it doesn't take too long, just like maybe 5 minutes or so, he takes them out, kind of maybe pats them dry or lets them kind of air dry. Seems to, there's some magical liquid, so it sort of just kind of absorbs into the meat. Yes, Boast Phil?
How far down is it from where we are?
I love how you think, Boast Phil.
It is about how far is it down?
It doesn't matter actually how many feet it is. Is it a followable distance?
Well, any distance is followable.
Is it a survivable
followable distance?
Yeah, I mean, I think for a rat, it is survivable. I would say it's probably only like 10 feet up.
Okay, I'm gonna go over to Doubtful. I'm gonna be Doubtful. You were born for this, and I was born for a lot, but this is also included.
If I think what you're saying is what you're saying, all right, I maybe pulled this off once. My joints aren't what they used to be, but I think we can do this.
I'll toss you so you don't even have to jump yourself.
Great. That's greatly appreciated. I tie the robe back. I tie the belt back onto my robe.
To be aerodynamic.
I like wrap it around. All right. Just don't tell any of the guys you had to toss. Okay.
Okay. Does he see? It seems like he's done, right? Like he's hanging it up to dry.
Yeah, he's not really hanging it up to dry for like a long time. He's sort of like literally, you see he's like finishing up, putting it on the plate, and he actually looks like he's about to leave. Like he's just ready
I'm
to.
gonna toss Doubt Phil near where we saw the vial on the like bandolier, and then I'm going to jump after him for his face.
Okay. Let's see. So
I would like to make a roll to facilitate the stealing roll that will happen after.
yeah. Sure.
Acting as a distractful, harmful presence.
Castus is not a simpleton. He's a scary guy. He's got a separate, but you see, he's also got a sword. And he's
Dragons don't fear swords.
a muscly guy. Okay, I'm just saying this isn't going to be easy. I think if you throw a rat at him, he's not going to be impressed. But
Are you saying that I'm in danger of becoming Sliceville?
yeah, Sliceful. But I think you can throw. Yes, I think you do both those things. I think they're separate roles. It's the main thing.
Mm-hmm.
Also, one sounds like criminal, one maybe sounds like rat.
Okay, which one's which?
I think it's criminal to try and aim your friend and throw them strategically.
Okay. Perfect. Fail.
Ooh.
Would you still like to follow up with
Yeah, of
launching
course.
yourself? Okay, launching yourself at someone's face seems very rat-like to me.
Okay, I'm gonna use Carnage to get a second dice. That's
There
a
we go.
success.
Okay, cool.
Go for his eyes.
You throw Doubtful, and he's just a little nervous. His tail's not in the right spot, and the robe
He weighs more than he used to.
Yeah, exactly.
The robe
When you
opens
last,
up and I'm now a sugar glider.
yeah, it changed the aerodynamics dramatically from last time y'all pulled this maneuver. It was unexpected. So, Doubtful goes wide, and I think lands maybe on the ground, like careens into the table, knocks a bunch of vials off, and then sort of also but keeps going and lands on the floor along this sort of shattered glass, and a very precarious, you're surrounded by shattered glass, strange liquids, so on and so forth. You're in a bit of a precarious spot. Boast Phil, you land on Cassus's face. He is surprised, stunned, even one might say.
I'm like scratching and biting his nose and like.
He is like, what? Oh, what is? And he sort of rips you off and throws you against the wall. He's not going to be quite as easy. He's not a one-hit wonder if you're going to take care of him. He throws you. You do notice, though, at the same time, he does have a royal pendant on his robe that he seems he kind of sees the rat. He sees y'all, or at least one of you. Maybe he didn't quite catch Doubtful, and he's like, ugh, filthy animals. Jeez. Ugh, I'll get someone to deal with y'all later. Not worth my time. And then he promptly just leaves. And he starts sort of.
Where's the meat?
He has it in like he's got I keep thinking like a platter or a plate, but I think it's more like a container, almost like a box. He's got like a basket probably with a cloth covering. He's got some way to hold it and keep it sort of covered. Yeah. So he very swiftly, he's like, I don't have time for this nonsense. Unlocks the door, grabs his basket, leaves, and locks the door again behind him.
As he's leaving, This distraction has been happening. I see the rats doing the thing. I'm pulling my spiders out of my pockets, and I'm equipping their scalpel attachments and their little pincher grabbers. Right? I'm
Yes.
configuring them for retrieval setup. And as he picks up the basket and the lid starts to close, I want to chuck both of the spiders down into the meat basket to retrieve a sample. I've programmed them to do their collection maneuver.
Okay.
Wow, robotics is
The
coming
MIT
in so much
robotics
handy.
team is
It's fantastic. Absolutely a spectacular program.
Yeah, this is some advanced programming. The technology we have these days is crazy. Okay, roll criminal for that.
Brainy criminal.
Brainy criminal. This is the last time I'm letting you use robots.
Well, these are my last two. No,
I was gonna say, isn't your
No.
criminal at 2?
it is. It is.
Okay, you throw these spiders, but it's
They're
a long
worthless.
way. He's moving fast. They sort of just miss their mark and careen off to the side. It was a tough throw, and you're on the robotics team, not the baseball team. So it was a bit difficult. But the 4 of you are now locked in this room, more or less. You could try and exit sort of through the rafters where you came in, but 2 of you are on the floor now, and 2 of you are still up. And there's
a
one
lock,
exit.
right?
There's one
He
just
locked
locked
it?
door you can see right in front of you. There might be other options as well.
Get down here, Phils. We gotta take that guy out. He's got all 3 things we need.
I hate to say this, but you're right.
He shouldn't be king anyway. Descendant
Yeah.
of the Dragonlord. What'd they ever do?
Yeah.
Dragons were
I
way
didn't vote for
cooler.
that, bruv. Let's go get him.
Okay, how would you like to go get him?
We go to the
Can we
locked door.
Can we fit underneath this door?
I don't think so. Not unless you somehow made the gap larger.
Is the door anything?
Yeah, it is anything. It is a material good. It's wood.
And anyway, okay, it's locked from both directions, probably. That's not how
Man.
locks work.
How would that work?
It locks from the outside. He uses a key on the
Oh.
outside. Oops, to lock it usually,
Mm.
and he locked it behind himself.
Hey, Dowdy, you can pick locks.
Yeah.
Well, we got a lock here.
Yeah.
Locked?
I mean, I've been looking for some tools to use. I would like to use some of the broken pottery shards and anything that looks remotely acidic in the broken bottles to pick this lock from the other side.
Yeah, I think you can scrounge up the materials you need fairly well. The trouble will just be the picking.
There's no trouble. I may be retired, but these hands know how to pick a lock.
These hands know how to pick a
Especially
lock.
with magic potion acid on this side.
Okay. So
It's like in 52.
roll criminal to pick the lock.
Can I flashback to my criminology courses? We were learning about all of the different poisons and toxins and things that people use and how to identify them when you're a detective on a case. So I can help find something in the room that I know will be acidic and can be used to weaken the lock.
Why don't we just try the lockpick and see? There's not really help actions in Honey Heist, okay? So
Part of what I'm looking for is to move a point out of rat
Oh.
into criminal.
you don't have to. Yeah. I mean, you could just. Yeah, you can do that if you want to flash back to
Okay.
your criminology class. Okay, but I won't make you roll. You won't You're not getting a sort of rolled effect yet.
You're just narratively telling me.
Sure.
Yeah.
No. That's oil
Scorn Phil,
of.
we've done this before. You know what I need. Just where do I put this in?
Look, it's the green one. Look, you
the
know,
green
you've seen
one.
it. We
What,
go,
this
yeah,
green
that's
one? That's
no.
light green.
Oh,
It's
dark green.
daffodil extract. You don't want the daffodil extract. You got to get the one that looks toxic and corrosive. Right? It's got the little.
I'm a little bit
skull on it.
colorblind. You know.
Oh shit! I forgot about that. God, what happened with that? You got in some accident or something? That was crazy.
No, you're born this way.
Oh really? Wow, that's way less cool.
There's a song about that one.
Damn.
Okay, roll for that lock.
And then Phil is gonna scurry on up and use his shards to pick that lock.
While Phil's picking the lock, I'm wandering over to find some trash herbs and snack.
Yeah, there's plenty of things that could be considered trash in this. All sorts of strange scraps of herbs and other weird organic material. So you can move a point if you'd like. Okay, 1. So that's a success for sure. So I imagine sort of all 3 of you form a little rat ladder, and Doubt Phil's at the top. There's little hands getting that lock, and you hear a little click, and then turn the knob, and all 4 of you sort of fall out of the door into the hallway. You're pretty fast, but Acasis isn't in view. His legs are much longer than y'all, so you can hear some footsteps in the distance, but you don't have eyes on him right this second.
Can I follow by smell?
Yeah, definitely. Roll rat to do that.
Roll rat. Would you believe my nose is on my face?
It is, but I don't think that's what that means. Would you believe your nose is edible?
Nice.
Okay, perfect. So you are able to pick up that scent. You know a reason goat anywhere, even though now it has a distinctly strange and acrid smell to it, both sweet and bitter at the same time. And you kind of scurry on ahead with the others following behind you. And you see, you kind of keep following Acasis through the maze of the palace until you get to one of the outside doors. And you can see that he's making his way into the barn, the stable with the dragons. And so you see him kind of opening that last door to the stables and sort of disappearing into the dark of that room, or that building, I guess we could say. And then the 4 of you are sort of at the edge of the palace. There's a small sort of gap. You can see some guards and some people patrolling around sort of in the open area, but you know where your prize is.
Follow that
But
beat.
they're in it. Let's go get it.
Okay. How do you want to try and enter the stable? You can see that there's windows, there's also potentially roof access if you wanted to try. There's the door. You're not sure if it's locked though.
No door.
There may also be some rat-sized cracks hiding around and about.
Yeah, I think we should find a rat-sized crack.
Perfect. Okay, whoever wants to do that can roll rat.
Doubtful will do it, and he'll hold up like a little piece of straw to like feel for drafts.
Perfect.
It's like, this is how we used to do this. This is a surefire way to find anything you need to find. Okay.
You know they make an app for that now.
Technology
Technology's come a long way.
You don't need technology. You don't need a degree for this, okay?
I'm just saying, it can be a little bit more reliable. We got AI these days. It does all kinds of cool stuff. But whatever, you do you.
It's here, and then I go through the crack.
Okay, perfect. You find your way around the edge of y'all scurry across, under moonlight. It's not, you're outdoors. It's much safer here for you. You can blend into the grass and the little bit of shrubbery and whatever, before making your way to the edge of the barn or the stables. Speaking of, let's transport ourselves there. And as you're sort of you start to make your way around the outsides as you try to figure out what the best way to enter is going to be. And you hear some things starting to happen inside, and you also sort of smell once again this strange smoke that you've never smelled before. But Doubt Phil is able to quickly, with the help of his wheat, find a drafty little hole for you all to scurry on through. And as you
don't knock the wheat.
There's an app for that. And as you kind of scurry through this solid wall, you can see one of the bricks kind of got cracked and broken away, and the mortar has started to crumble out. You end up on the other side, and you find right in front of you, you see sort of the slowly swishing, glittering tail of an extremely large lizard with wings, otherwise known as a dragon. It is not looking at you presently, but you've found yourself in sort of one of the stalls of the dragon. And you can hear Acastus walking through kind of the central area as he's kind of opening the latches on every single one of these little stalls. And he makes his way over to sort of I think, one of the larger sort of open areas in the back. He's like, "Oh, my beautiful, beautiful babies. Y'all look wonderful. I've got my treat for you. Come and get it." And he sort of starts pulling out this meat. And you see the dragons, they're excited. They're clamoring. They're like, "Yes, yes, meat, meat." And they all of them start to get a little bit more energetic. They're probably all kind of napping, even though they have they know when feeding time is coming.
Are these dragons saddled?
No. They're not saddled, right? Currently, but they're starting to tromp their way out excitedly as they kind of wake up and come to get some of this meat. And you have a sinking suspicion they're big, they're hungry, there's not that much meat. You got to get a sample fast. You also maybe notice that you can hear a much kind of higher pitched, younger voice that seems to be going, "Ooh, meat. Is this what y'all been talking about? Meat. Yummy."
Alright, bruv. This your mom. She's mighty too big for us to handle, but that wee one over there, we could go take its meat.
Yeah. So do you want to kind of head on in and see what's happening?
I think we skirt around to get to the small voice.
Yeah, small voice.
Okay.
I think Scorn Phil is going to look for, in the rafters, is there anything heavy? Is there like a mezzanine where somebody is set, a pallet of bricks from building the thing that's just kind of still laying there, or like a hay bale
Let's
or
kill
something
Acastus, and then
that
Logan has to deal with it.
Yeah, just a big, heavy, solid object.
There is definitely you can easily see there is like a second level, not a second level, but like you said, like a mezzanine. There's like a storage area. So they store mainly hay and maybe some other supplies up there to change out the bedding for the dragons. It looks, I mean, you're a rat. To you, a lot of things look heavy, so they definitely look heavy. They're also.
Right, I'm booking it up there.
Okay. you're booking it up there. Why don't you? Okay, so are the other three of you? You're gonna go try and get closer to the source of that small
Go to
voice.
the little one.
Okay,
Mhm.
so then I want Scorn Phil. Please roll rat to climb up and get to the level you're interested in.
Oh,
Perfect. Okay. I'll come back to that in 1 second. And then the
Great.
rest of you, please, one of you, would you roll to sort of scurry stealthily during this kind of, it's stealthy enough and they're distracted enough. You can almost it's like making your way through a herd of elephants to get over and closer, but you still need to try and be kind of stealthy because they might just eat you in their excitement or step on you.
Is
So
that criminal or rat?
this is, I think, rat again to sort of.
I mean, our thief can lead us and then get 2 dice, right? Probably.
This isn't really stealing anything, so I think it's just one dice.
It's not thievery. Okay.
But I have 3. I'm still 3-3.
Okay, do it.
Wow, look at that 3-3-3. We might be changing that soon.
Should have said nothing.
Oh,
She meant 6-1.
speaking of, since you
I'm-
just rolled a 6 on a rat, if Scornful could please lose 1 rat, gain 1 criminal.
Honestly, that's good. I like that.
I feel like Doubtful will, he'll just scurry on over and I'll be like, okay, come on. I don't, walk over here. And then he'll move through and he'll kind of get everybody in, if there's any cracks in the stone, he'll have them in the lower part of the floor if there's any dents and following any kind of recessions so that nothing can step on them quite as much. And then he'll guide them towards this little voice that we're hearing. Dun, da, 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 a rat.
Yay!
Ooh, okay, successful, perfect. So you 3 do in fact scurry on over. You see in sort of a smaller enclosure that hasn't been unlocked in order to sort of keep this small dragon safe. You can see a very young dragon, still bigger than y'all, but where the other ones are, as we know from the story, large enough to ride, this one's just maybe sort of in the medium-sized dog phase. It's not more than maybe 50 pounds or something. It's still quite young. And so Acasus sort of kept it to the side, and he's even making little googly eyes at it. He's got a smaller strip that he's cut off, and he's like, who's my best little baby? Who's my best little baby? And then he sort of throws one of the pieces in, and he's like, me. And this kind of, with it very agile though, despite its sort of young age, it sort of grabs that piece of meat and starts chomping down on it.
Before he swallows it, I went to speak to him.
Let's say he gets that one, and you see
there's
Acasus
more,
readying
okay.
a second small piece
yeah.
for him. He's being a little more with the others. He's sort of just thrown out these cuts, and he's not as concerned. He seems to be a little more careful about the portion size for this little one.
Okay. Does he give it and then he gets distracted and then we'll come back? Do I have a moment to speak to this dragon without a cast just staring at us?
Yeah, I think you have a small moment, but let's step back 1 second to
Yeah.
this 6
Oh.
from Scorn Phil. So
I
Scorn Phil, you think you're just gonna scurry on up, and actually you do. You find a pillar. It's got a good grip. You're like, oh, this is easy peasy. Phil will be A, proud of me, and B, disappointed if I somehow fail at this climb. And you climb it. You were topped by one of the best. But you make it to the top, and you smell this strange smoke again. This time it's so thick and cloying. And it's strange. You've never smelt it before. And you look over and you see someone you were never expecting to see.
This mother.
Look what they get dragged in. A Phil from Field Team 6, no less. It looks like. Oh, do not worry. The Pierres are already here to stop you. Do not get in our way. All right? You beautiful little rats. And he just, with one, he sort of like stubs out his cigarette, lights another one, and then just sort of swipes his tail around and knocks you off of the mezzanine. Looks down at you, laughing, as you see 4 other possums. These are Pierre the possums. Scurrying along the top level. They seem to have a pretty good grip on the high ground at the moment, and they seem to have some unknown objective of their own. This is the Arisian Special Ops on their own mission. And you flash back and you hear that Dawn had left. As y'all were leaving, he given you one final note. He'd said, "Oh, I just remembered. We got some intel I'm not so sure about, but there might be some competition in this, I don't know, this job, okay? You'll figure it out. You'll be fine. Good luck." And you have met your competition, it seems. So, Boast Phil, you've fallen back to the floor. The others are very close to this small dragon. Who would like to do something?
I'll talk to him. Hey, bruv. All right. What's this about?
The dragon looks at you and is like confused for a second, and he goes, "Oh, are you guys our food? Wait, no, there's better food. Ooh!" And he looks up, and it's like Acastus has started to. He can see Acastus. He's like got his on his hind legs, looking at like Acastus getting food. He does not care about you at all.
But I'm just gonna try and sow doubt and be like, I heard that meat ain't as what it used to be anymore. You know, I think you should be a little hesitant to take it.
He did just eat some of it.
I know. I'm gonna, and if someone told me something was poisoned and I had just ate some of it, I would pay attention.
Okay. Roll criminal to try and convince this dragon that it just ate.
I just want him to pause, like that, immediately swallow this next one.
Okay.
And then I'll try to sell him my mixtape. But step one first.
Nice.
Wow.
Oh,
Snake
he
eyes.
loves hip hop.
He's one of those young kids. He's into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's very impressionable. We'll say that much. So he kind of turns to you again and he's like, what do you mean? Wait, I just ate them and it was pretty good.
What was that first one you ate? Ever?
Well, I mean, it tasted different than regular meat, but...
Ooh. Hey, you ain't had the special meat before?
Well, no, but
I was just thinking
they all said
have
the
a little
special
more
meat's the
caution.
best part.
Yeah, they lying to you.
Okay, you've distracted him. So,
Slice some of that meat.
let's see. Yeah, I think you can tell that Castus is like about to turn around and get ready to throw the next piece of meat. Do you just want to wait?
I'm simply distracting him and keeping him from
Okay,
eating
okay.
this piece of meat. Someone else do something.
Okay, so you want to be continuously distracting him. Okay.
I want his focus, like. So
Okay.
he's not just
Yeah.
immediately
He's
eating it.
distracted, so he's not doing that thing before where he was like getting ready to eat that meat. And Augustus is kind of like, okay, well, he's like, who's my favorite baby?
He's lying to you too, bro.
But he is you start to see a tiny bit of confusion as he sees that the dragon is not interested anymore.
These are
Now,
your
Phil,
cousins.
Me?
Yeah.
No, you don't know what a real dragon is.
To get the claws and do the stuff and put some in here. And I give it the thimble, my hat. The thimble
Oh, I was
that
going to
used.
toss you again. I saw what you did with that robe.
That's
Brilliant.
You can toss. I mean, we can try that again. It didn't work out. He might be prepared. They might be prepared, but
Your instinct says throwing a rat into a feeding frenzy of like quite a few hungry dragons is highly dangerous.
But isn't a Castus is just like waving a small piece?
Yeah, but Augustus, like, not far from Augustus at all. He's very confident.
Okay,
He's not worried. Like, the dragons treat him almost like a parent. And he also
What
treats them
if
obviously like kids. So they're like right next to him, tearing up some meat.
Want to have cut a slice off of the baby dragon's little snack while he's distracted. He wants to take the sample from the baby dragons, which I assume has been dropped on the floor.
Yeah. I think
right.
if you just wait a second, you see, Augustus is like, well, I guess, okay, let me get your next one. And then he kind of throws that first one and it just kind of flops on the floor. And the dragon like looks at it for a second and he's like, so wait, tell me more about beatboxing?
It's the hottest thing in the street. So you just go.
I want to be on
and
the
then you go,
streets.
and you go, and then you follow it up with the, oh, you're natural, bruv. You're natural. Gotta hype him up.
Okay.
I'll run over to that piece of meat and I'll take the coin off of my head and I've like sharpened part of it so it's like a little...
So you have
Like
a
those
prison
Mezzaluna
shake?
pizza cutters.
And I'll just...
Okay.
And I've got the thimble ready to cut for our sample.
You cut off, a piece of that. Okay, I mean, I think maybe we'll do a roll to do it quickly enough because Augustus, he's not spending a ton of time, but kind of turning back and forth. But you have like a minute or just a second. So maybe why don't we do? I think that's criminal since you're using tools. All right,
Nice.
perfect, successful. So you are you take that coin off, the sharpness of the blade perfectly, you run it through, get just enough to fill the thimble. Before I think maybe you scurry back into the shadows for a second. And Augustus is distracted, I would say, by this whole process. So you can see he's kind of got another piece of meat ready, and you're losing the dragon's interest. Respect, Phil. He's hungry, and is starting to be like, beat but meat, but beat but meat.
You can have a
and
bow.
then
You can
he's
take the
like,
meat, and
so
then
his neck is like wandering. And you think by the time Augustus is about to throw this third piece, and you're just going to lose him. But you can see Augustus has his robe sort of opened. He's feeling very casual. You can see a bit of that glowing golden liquid in a vial on him. And then you can also see that he's got his pin, his insignia, also on his robe. I will say this too. His robe is very distinct. So if you were to maybe, the insignia would be the true prize, but even getting a scrap of his robe might still be valuable. I mean, we want to go for the good stuff, but you never know what's going to happen. So that, or you could just try and leave. You've got your main prize.
No.
Phil's never
But I
leave.
ain't got an idea.
You haven't really finished the mission. You also, one of you knows there's a secret ops, special ops team.
Yeah, so Scorn
Loitering.
Phil would like to pick himself up and dust himself off after the fucking Frenchies with their clove cigarettes and I think the better than everybody else is fucking ridiculous. I can't believe kids got one over on me.
Accordion
can I
music is
just, like, stop?
wafting in the background.
Can I stop and just like try to identify, okay, here's where they are, here's what they're doing, oh, their objective must be this. Try and piece together their plan so I can devise a counter plan.
Definitely. Roll criminal to try and see if you can, assess what their goals are.
That is a success on a 1.
Yeah. So you can see they are kind of hopping around the rafters. They're definitely biding their time. They're not in a rush for some reason. And it seems like there's maybe like 2 lookouts or 2 that are kind of a little further away from the main group. And then there's about 3 of them that are hovering above the area that is kind of like over the Acastus and I would say Young Dragon area. And they have what looks like a lot of rope that you might use to truss something or someone up. So
they're going to kidnap the king.
Those are your words, not mine.
Why didn't we think of that? We could just take the king.
Obviously, that's what we should have done.
On him.
So
Well, I think they're targeting the king.
It seems to be from you're also a special ops force in disgraced, but it's fine. And you would say this looks like the kidnapping maneuver is about to happen. And the other 2, these 3 are going to go in a little bit, and then the other 2 are going to help with extraction.
Okay, so I want to signal to my other Phils, hey, situation, we're about to have contact with hostile forces, and you need to get into defensive positions.
Okay.
You're going to do all the hand signs for all
show
that.
us what their hand signs are.
You 3 spread out. Acastus, man walking. 3 possums. Fuck, I forget what the sign for possums is. Possums.
It's this.
Possums.
It's this. Possums. Yeah.
You're gonna drop from the ceiling and attack him. Karate chop. Right? Defensive positions.
Okay. I think I'm going to require a criminal roll to effectively convey this. I think you know all the hand signs, but I'm also worried about their ability to receive the hand signs. Oh, perfect.
I get everything except for the word defensive, and I interpret it as offensive.
Yep.
We're kidnapping the king. We have backup. We have backup. 5 guys.
Back and forth. All right, bro. Let's do Operation 66. Okay, I'm gonna jump at the king's bandolier. I can eat anything. I'm gonna take a bite out of it at a structurally integral portion, so it snaps and falls off.
Okay, perfect. All
This
right.
is as good as anything I had. So.
Okay, I think things are gonna happen pretty fast and loose now. So let's maybe we'll have everyone pick an objective and see if they can achieve it. So Logan's
I'm gonna climb that king.
Logan's gonna try and get the bandolier. Sarah, why do you want to climb the king? What's the goal?
For the pin.
Okay, you're gonna try and steal the pin by climbing the pin. I would say it would be good to have either 1 or 2 people maybe helping with someone's got to be in charge of the meat and keep track of that. But also you've got to do extraction and you got to get everybody out. So We'll start.
I feel like either I or Boast Phil has the meat.
I'll have the meat.
Okay. And since you have the meat, I think we'll say, yeah. I think extraction with the meat, the danger there is the dragons smelling the more meat, even though it's small, and wanting to gobble it up, and in the process might as well gobble you up at the same time.
No problem.
Okay, perfect. So
I wanna dig into my pocket and pull out the other scrap of meat that I grabbed earlier and toss it to Boast Phil to use as a
Nice.
you're being attacked, here's a decoy.
Yeah.
Throw it behind you.
okay, perfect. Do you think you can come up with can Scorn Phil come up with a sort of extraction escape plan?
Yeah, we're gonna come up with something. We're looking
Okay.
at the exits right now. We're observing the opossums doing the thing, and we're gonna get this worked out. But we gotta play this kind of fast and loose. So these guys who are on the attack, they gotta get their attack off, and we're gonna reassess at that point.
So let's start with Respect Phil. Roll to chew through that bandolier. Acastus distracted. He's kind of he's maybe cutting the last piece of meat for the little one, who's now chomping down happily. The others have started to finish up their pieces, and they're sort of gnawing on some little bits of bone and fat. And so things are like calming down a little bit, which may be more dangerous. But Acastus is distracted.
So I'll take a moment and I'll try and identify the integral structural portion and then bite that strategically.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that if you were to bite kind of near where the buckle is, it's gonna come right off. It's the most important part. So roll. Yeah, that sounds like criminal.
Okay.
What is your criminal? Success.
4.
Okay, perfect. So you scurry on up. How do you think you get onto Acastus?
I feel like I'm on the little place where the little dragon is. I feel like it's up. It's like a little pedestal.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna leap. He's gonna turn to give, and I'm gonna be leaping and land like a face first, teeth out, snip. So
Snip,
that's gonna
snap.
be a jumping maneuver.
Clean as butter. Okay, yeah.
Clean as butter.
Clean as butter.
Clean as butter. You know.
I'm always saying that.
Yeah.
I'm always saying clean as butter.
Like a knife through butter, whatever. Hot knife through butter. Anyways.
Smooth as butter.
Smooth as butter. The possums are going to kill you all.
The rocks fall. Everyone dies.
Okay. Okay. You do that. You land on Acastus's chest, cut through that bandolier, and you kind of, I think you maybe hold on to the part of it, and then that sort of helps you both sort of slip off and down to the floor in a clatter.
Okay, yeah.
Acastus, surprised, is like, whoa, what? He's kind of like brushing at his chest. And he's like, those rats again? And sort of, he's like, sees the meat, throws it, and then he's like, you see he's starting to pat his chest as he maybe is starting to try and figure things out. So let's have Doubt Phil try and see if we can get to the pin.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. So I think we're gonna come from the back. He's got robes, you say. So we're gonna be heading. So as he's like looking at his chest and like hopefully looking like bandolier on floor, head down, I'm gonna latch on to the tail of his robe and scramble my way up.
Okay.
To nip the pin. And I'll even use that piece of broken crockery I had to pick the lock to like cut the fabric where needed to like get the pin out faster.
Cool. Roll criminal with 2 dice.
Would
since
you
you're
say
stealing.
that is both climbing and thieving?
You can't get 3 dice.
I would say that that's both climbing and thieving.
Yep. So you definitely get 2 dice.
All right.
There's no super advantage.
Do some shoulder rolls, some neck rolls, and I alley-oop. That is not a success.
That's
No!
not a success. Okay, I was gonna say. I think
Not a
someone's still at
success.
3-3. Why don't we
I'm
change that?
3-3.
So that was a criminal. It was a high stress moment. You failed at being a criminal. So lose 1 in criminal, gain 1 in rat. And you sort of, I think you scurry on over his shoulder. You're like about to reach down and get the pin. He's been patting his chest. He looks over, sees you, and then once again grabs you and sort of like throws you into the midst of all these dragons. And he's like, these damn rats, eat those things. And the dragons sort of like perk up and they're like, more food? And they are like, at least one of them sort of hones in right on you as the others kind of look around a little bit. And you're in a tight position.
I'm
So
gonna stride up to these dragons. Sorry,
No, go for it. Mine was way more dangerous than whatever you're gonna do.
I don't know about
don't say
that.
that.
More dangerous for you.
I'm going to hold up the thimble of meat and I'm going to be like, not more meat. We are the bearers of the final meat. The meat for the most powerful of the dragons. The meat for the powerhouse of Thylea. Bow mitochondria herself.
Okay. You have proclaimed this, squeaking regally and loudly. Castus can see you, but you're sort of in the midst of the dragons, so we can't get to you quickly. And the dragons are like, what are you talking about? So you're definitely going to need to roll something.
I'm gonna roll something. It's 3 and 3, so you don't have to choose.
I think it's criminal.
It's probably criminal for talking. Yeah, and I just want to like convince them that we are on like a holy dragon mission
Okay.
and to leave us alone.
I think you can convince them to not immediately eat you.
Yes.
I don't think you can convince them you're a holy dragon ritual. The dragons are smart.
No. I said we're on a holy dragon mission.
Okay. Well, it's not going good anyways. Okay. So you fail. You hold this meat up. You squeak. You've actually grabbed all of their attention now. And which does take it off of Doubt Phil, but Doubt Phil does not have anything of value. So at the moment, you've technically secured the meat, but it's on Boast Phil, and you've secured the secret ingredient, which is with Respect Phil, who has kind of not made it out, but is not under pressure right this second. The floor is yours. These dragons, they're about to pounce. You've got maybe one more second. You don't think talking's gonna work. You can try to outrun them.
This regular piece of meat that Scorn Phil gave me. Throw it and run.
Okay. Roll rat to run for your life.
Nope.
I would like to trigger
can
the
resist
rapid
that
disassembly protocol.
Okay.
We're going to trigger rapid disassembly protocol. I'm going to find the biggest dragon in the place while all of this is going on. I'm going to sneak into their pin. I'm going to bite them on their like Achilles tendon and just cause an immense amount of pain with a very small bite and make this dragon freak out, start thrashing and like causing havoc and dealing damage.
Okay. So we're causing a distraction. So I think Boast Phil fails. Boast Phil is running, and then like right before you can get to the exit, one dragon sort of like chomps down on your tail and rears back its head, and you're just sort of dangling, and it's about to sort of like throw you up so it can then just sort of snatch you down its gullet. But then let's see if Scorn Phil can cause a distraction. Roll rat. I think that's a rat for bite strength of rage, of dragon rage.
Pretty terrifying though. I got big chompers. They do be chomping, and it's pretty scary when you get bitten your Achilles. Like that's an injury that'll put you out of your career if you're an athlete.
Yeah,
these dragons are in their prime.
They're athletes,
right? They're nothing. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yes. Okay, Scorn Phil, you come up. You're sneaking. They're all distracted by your idiot teammates who are just they don't know how to do anything. So you're gonna have to save the day like you always do. This time, not without your fancy machines, fancy robots.
Do it the old fucking fashioned way.
The
Use my
old-fashioned
teeth.
way. When in doubt, you're always a rat at heart. And you find this big dragon that he's kind of lazy. And he's like so big. He's like, the others can fight over a rat. I don't need to. I just had my meal.
Yeah,
I'm good.
This is the prideful leader of the pack. Yeah.
And you find just the tenderest, juiciest, smallest little scales. You give them a little tap tap, and you can tell that they're not very strong or hard yet. And you just do one big right in there. This dragon kind of jumps up, wings spread out, shrieks in pain, and then starts breathing fire all through the rafters.
Yes.
Acastus is losing his mind. He is yelling at people. He's got his sword out. He's telling the dragons what to do. Boast Phil, you were about to be thrown up and snapped in your gullet, but this roar of agony has caused the other dragon to open its mouth and turn to look what is happening, and you've been freed. At this same time, you see 3 possums deftly and speedily, with a precision unknown to rat kind, they have suddenly descended, rapidly tied up, and are suddenly extricating what looks to be almost like a goose or a chicken, but you realize it's too shiny for that, and they have a young dragon trussed up, tranquilized, and being pulled into the rafters.
Well, it's fucking possums. They got opposable thumbs. It's just not a fair comparison. Of course they're better prepared for us. They can fucking manipulate things with their digits. I had to make robots to do this, all right? They got all this biological advantage. It's not fair.
So the possums have taken advantage of this chaos. They look like they're going to get out scot-free with a major prize. But y'all still need to make it out of here, and you have not gotten the pin. I'll say you maybe have one more opportunity. Maybe Respectful has one more opportunity because I think he's still the closest with having gotten the bandolier down.
Perfect. Well, I will just sort of shove that bandolier in a crack in the wall so it's not on my person anymore. And then I'm going to who was it was Boast Phil almost gulleted?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
Boast Phil was almost gulleted.
I'm gonna grab you. I'm gonna grab your head and be like, bruv, look at that, bruv. And that's the chicken is being ascended. That's the next big thing.
Chicken
I
is
think
being
he can
ascended.
make it. He's a natural, okay? His hip hop, flawless. We can't let him be taken like that. I'm gonna move my toothpick to the other side, becoming disrespectful, and I'm saying, screw the mission, man. We gotta get that one, okay? I need you. Go get him. I'm gonna point you in that direction. I'm just gonna try to get you to do something. So you can do savageness. That's what we need.
Do you give him the thimble?
I shoved the thimble into the,
Oh,
in the crack.
I'll hold the safety crack. Shove it in there.
The safety crack is about to become unsafe.
Gotta go get him.
Okay, we've got a pin. We've got a dragon being abducted. We've got another dragon burning the stable down. We've got a king going crazy. He's got his sword drawn, ready for blood.
Okay. You go get him. I'll get the pin. No, screw the mission.
Yeah,
The Don
yeah,
would be
yeah.
upset about that. Okay, I'll go back calmly.
You started
I'll
walking
take the
away.
bottle. I'll take the bottle off the bandolier.
Uh-huh.
So now I just have the bandolier free. And in the chaos, I'm gonna just sort of stroll over and I'm gonna whistle at Acastus and like wave the bandolier so he thinks that I still have the bottle.
Okay.
When he bends down to get it, I'm gonna try and grab the pin.
This is crazy.
The old 1-2 punch.
I'm gonna Indiana Jones this man.
Yeah.
I think I said something about him having his sword drawn out for blood.
Well, he still has
He's
to
just
bend
being
down.
a friendly rat.
His sword cannot. His sword is not opposable. so he
Okay,
can't
okay.
pick up.
Let's see. We'll see if you can I guess expertly distract and maybe create an opening with Acastus.
Yeah.
Roll criminal.
Perfect. I guess I wanted to make it. Maybe I want it to look like I'm trying to escape. Like, oh, he saw me, and I'm trying to run away with the bandolier. So he's like gonna try
I
and
have
grab.
an idea of how to help.
Okay. Well, I'll create the opening for you.
Okay.
Is this rat or criminal?
I think it's a criminal to have such a clever plan like this
Thank you.
of deception.
Is it face? Am I deceiving him with my face?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Roll 3 die.
Uh-oh.
Oh God.
Okay. I am contractually obligated.
Sixes have we rolled tonight? Too
I
many.
know,
Ooh,
so many. More than one 6 in a roll. For sure.
Definitely for a game that you don't want to roll sixes for. Okay. So I think let's see. I think the fire and smoke is starting to get to be a real problem, and Acastus is just leaving. He's starting to leave. He hasn't noticed the possums. At this point, the possums they're in the rafters. They're running. They're also fire evacuation, and they're in an opposite direction from Acastus.
Oh my God.
And the dragons are like kind of like freaked out by what's wrong, but this fire doesn't bother them. So they're sort of just like, well, we'll just stay here, I guess. But they are still looking for you. And I think Doubtful was down there. Boast Phil's down there. They're going to be back on the hunt in sort of this fiery mayhem soon. So I think that your complication is that sort of your two goals are very directly diverging. Acastus is leaving the building where you're at. And
Is Acastus out of this building?
he's like at the door is what I would say. Like he's not immune to flames or smoke. So he's sort of got his he sees you with the bandolier maybe for a second, but he's like he just thinks y'all are dumb rats, so he's gonna kind of run away. The safety crack is not safe anymore. Flaming debris is starting to fall from the floor. You need to grab an item and escape with it, or it will not be available.
Okay.
Yeah, my
go
goal
back.
is to exfiltrate with the objectives.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Who's closest to the safety crack?
Maybe Scorn Phil.
Yeah, I mean, I want to have bitten the dragon on the heel and then gotten out of there with the stuff.
Yeah, I think you can exfiltrate. Each rat can exfiltrate with one thing. So you can pick either thimble or vial. The vial is kind of big for you guys. You know, it's like not. It's going to be hard for you to scurry with both a thimble and vial at the same time, I think.
I'll get the vial. You get
I'll
the
get the
thimble.
thimble.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
And
other
then-
two get the dragon or the sigil.
How is a rat gonna get a dragon?
Okay, Doubtful, did you want to try and get a cast this one last time?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I would like to.
This will be the last.
Statistically, it has to work this time.
Statistically, it has to work this time. So there's fire everywhere. And I would like to set his clothes on fire so he takes off his robe with the pin. And then I can take the pin and leave.
Very good idea.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Okay, very good. That seems easy enough. You have your trusty piece of crack finding wheat.
I do.
And you think it would be easy enough to go A to B and set his robe
I also
alight.
have a very soft terry cloth robe belt that is also a great
Yeah, true.
flammable
If you're
object.
willing to sacrifice the robe, you see some cigarette butts around too. If you need a third
Yeah.
flammable material. Okay, so
Great.
roll a criminal. This is not thievery or climbing.
But it's in the spirit of thievery.
No, it's not.
In the
It's
spirit of
arson.
stealing.
If
I'm
there was an
stealing
arson
fire.
one, I would give you arson.
I'm stealing
You're
fire.
not Prometheus.
How do you know? I might be Doubt Prometheus Phil.
Roll that d6.
That's what we used to call him. We used to call him Philmetheus.
Doubt,
Back in the
Phil is
day.
like, remember me, and he's gonna run in one last time against the casters and light that puppy
Witness
on
me.
fire.
Ooh, congrats. Okay, perfect. So you take that wheat, you hold it up to that robe, and it sets itself alight. Acast is so distracted by all the smoke, it doesn't just kind of burst into flames, but he's so distracted he doesn't notice it even as he's stepping out, and slowly it keeps kind of building and building until he looks around. He's like, oh my, and kind of rips it off, throws it on the ground, and tries to kind of stamp it out. But really, he just sort of backs away, and he's hollering for guards. As this whole thing is causing a huge commotion. You start to hear bells ringing, people shouting for water to take care of it. And so you, in the chaos, are able to slip in, grab that pin off of the robe, and leave. Okay. Now, Respect Phil, would you like to try and see if you
He's
can stop
disrespectful now.
I'm
disrespect
at the moment.
Phil? Well, guess what? These
Yeah.
possums are disrespect filling y'all. Would you like to try?
I
One
don't
of
know
them
how
is
I will,
just sort
so
of
I'll just wing
watching
it.
y'all from the distance.
I'll just walk past him and then I'll put out his cigarette as I go.
And well, you think you can do anything to stop us? We're already halfway to Odyssey by now.
I just think it funny, bruv. You think that's the real dragon? I swapped him with a different dragon. You got chicken. There you know him clicking.
He looks back. The dragon is beatboxing to itself. And it does sound
If I cluck it, if
strangely
I've ever
like
heard it.
clucking. So you see this sort of dragon being trundled off on the backs of some possums.
I just think it'd be funny. I think it'd be funny if you bring back a chicken to your boss. That'd be funny, wouldn't it?
We have never failed a mission. It appears.
Well, first time for everything, I guess. See you around. I do know where the real dragon is because I'm on the basis of me being the one that switched it.
You, a paw shoots out as you turn around and grabs your shoulder and says, "Where is the real dragon?" And then roll face to see if this succeeds in
I've
any
never
way.
wanted to succeed on a roll more than this one.
Wow.
Oh, that's pretty good.
It's pretty
What's your
good.
criminal?
It's a success. My criminal's 4.
Criminal's 4. Okay. You hear let's see. Vaso squeezes your shoulder. Exhales cigarette smoke, and he says, "Where is the real dragon?"
Oh, that's funny, bruv. The real dragon's disguised as a pink little kitten running around. Real unhairy. Really upsetting.
Pink kitten? So you say it is a pink kitten? Yes. And then he does a little whistle. This stops everyone, and he says, "All right, we have a second mission for today. We have a kitten to catch. A pussy to play with."
Okay.
Your words, not mine.
Your words, not mine.
He is French.
And
He got
That says you're
himself.
banned.
He got himself. He made himself. He broke himself.
And we'll end it there for tonight. Or today, whatever you want to say. With our Rat Team 6.
Mission success.
Largely
We did all three
successful.
Four for
objectives.
4. This is great.
And one
Um,
extra bonus objective we gave ourselves.
Okay, so you all 4 make it back to the Don's office, and you see him. He calls you in, and he says, "I heard there was quite a commotion at the stables the other night. I'm assuming you've got good news for me." I said, "You've got good news?"
It's just been such a long time since I've done this. Okay, well here's what is this thing? The pin. This is the thing, the pin. Insignia. That's it.
He points to one of the guards, who comes forward and takes it.
Here's the
Okay.
secret ingredient. Blah.
Oh, good. Another one of the guards grabs it.
Just
And the most
lump
important
a
part.
hulk of meat. Just rotten, weird, enchanted meat on the desk. There you go, Don. We're out. We're out.
Oh, it smells so good. All right, you've impressed
We
me.
also did a secret bonus, Dawn. Well, you know those Arisian. We might embarrass them. They brought a kitten back when they needed a dragon.
He spits on the ground. Don't mention those Arisian bastards to me. So
They
they
were on our turf, Dawn. They were on our
Yeah.
turf, and we got them.
We sent them home mighty embarrassed.
We'll make sure to send them a message. I'll have Rat Teammate take care of it. Now, you've done a good job. You've done me a good favor. And I reward my friends who helped me. Here's what I'm gonna do for you. Okay? You're gonna get a cut of the rewards, and you're gonna get your full post restored. Alright? You take a vacation for a little bit, and I may have a job for you again in a couple weeks. I'll find you when I need you. And I'll get you that reward from a client once it comes through. Good job. Now get out of my sight. And he shoos you away. Okay. And that's that.
Nice.
Good job,
Woohoo.
everyone.
Grand success.
It's not a campaign if we don't at least set one thing on fire. And I think we
That's true.
are literally cannot do anything.
That's true. Okay, well, that was Honey Heist, or Rat Heist, or Rotten Meat Heist, or Dragon Heist, whatever you want to call it. What a fun and lovely system. We're always happy to play it. So we will be back next week, maybe? I think.
Not on a certain day. Probably not Thursday, but maybe on a certain day.
Not on Thursday, but we're going to plan to try and stream next week with our regularly
A day.
scheduled regularly scheduled D&D. There's no more special episodes for the moment, so we'll be back to the good stuff in just a little bit. But other than that, thank you so much for listening. Hope you had fun, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
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 Goodbye.